From Memorial Stadium here in Austin, Texas, ABC Sports and the College Football Association today feature a matchup between the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Texas Longhorns, the number 15 team of the nation, set to take the field for the first time here at Memorial Stadium this year. Everyone, I'm Terry Gannon along with my partner Tim Brand. And Tim, you've got two football teams that look to get back to the level they once enjoyed as programs. Good early season openers, 1-0 for Texas, 2-0 for Pittsburgh. And I think Texas feels like they've really found a leader in their quarterback.
Yeah, I think they did too. James Brown, he didn't grow into this quarterback spot here at Texas. He actually reached out and seized it. He is 5-0 as a starter. He feels it's his team now. This guy has tremendous mobility and quickness, and because of that, he causes a lot of problems for defenses. But watch this. Pitt's defense is getting a lot better, and in the middle, moving around, chasing James Brown today is Tom Terrific, number 84, Tom Tumulty. He is a throwback, a headhunter. This guy, he is actually one of those linebackers that loves just to have bad intentions, and he plays that way. But they're going to have to score a lot of points today, and to do that, I want to introduce you to a talented young freshman, Demetrius Harris. 3 touchdowns last week, over 100 yards. He runs a 4.4. This guy has tremendous speed. He's exciting. He's a big play guy. They're going to have a lot of points today to have a chance against Texas.
A couple of explosive offenses against defenses trying to improve on last year. The Pitt Panthers and the Texas Longhorns coming up. It looks like a beautiful day here in Austin, but it is hot and it is humid. And the third member of our crew, John Spagnola, will have to deal with that all day long down on the field. John?
Thank you, Terry. You know, afternoon games here in Texas in the month of September are rare because the heat is so extreme. Today is no exception, as on-field temperatures will easily exceed 100 degrees. Both teams will have to contend with the heat. Pitt had to contend with the heat off the field as their locker room facility was without air conditioning where the players dressed. That means you had a lot of hot, sweaty bodies putting pads on. We'll see how they'll react to that kind of heat in the locker room here at the kickoff. Terry, back to you.
All right, John, and you would feel that Texas would have the advantage, having practiced all August long in the hot, humid temperatures here, but it's been awfully hot in the east as well.
Although talking to the Pitt players yesterday, they said that when they left Pittsburgh, it was only 60 degrees.
Look at Phil Dawson, the sophomore from Dallas, and Dietrich Gels, the speedster wideout for Pitt back deep. Texas won the toss, but they deferred to the second half.
First look at Gels. He is dangerous as a return guy, track guy. We'll talk more about that during the ball game.
First home game for the Texas Longhorns. And they get awfully loud here at Memorial Stadium. And Gels, 3 yards deep, thought about it and goes to one knee. So the Panthers will start their first series at the 20-yard line. And John Ryan, the man who overtook the starting job last year, about midway through, and has played awfully well. You look at his numbers this year, 288 yards last week, actually, against Eastern Michigan. And really a guy who, you talk to the Pitt coaches, they say he is really a student of the game. Johnny Majors loves his quarterback and what he loves to do in the film work. Majors in his third year during his second stint at Pittsburgh, and coming off of 3-8 seasons, this is a very important year.
Took Pitt to the national championship in '76, trying to get him back there.
Snyder and Patton in the backfield, and here's the pass to Dietrich Gels, in a dangerous one. Complete for a gain of about 4, but awfully close to being picked off.
Almost looked like Taji Allen knew the play. He almost had that picked off. Dangerous play to start with.
A chilly starting lineup for the Pitt Panthers. We'll take a look at that in the backs and receivers. We talked about Gels. He is a track man, the all-time leading receiver in terms of yardage at Pitt, and no doubt by the end of the year will also become the all-time leader in receptions.
All you have to know if you're a defensive back, and he's the Big East 100-meter champion.
2nd and 6. Ryan to throw again. Has his man, Sadiq Durham, fighting for a first down, and he may have it across the 30 to the 31. Taji Allen on the coverage and the stop.
That's complete to number 82.
Durham, a senior out of the Bronx, and the offensive line that's been shuffled around. Both these teams have really shuffled their lines around. Matt Hoslick, the leader, who came over from defense.
Yeah, really, he is a great athlete. I mean, he's got tremendous feet, good hands. He takes the place of Reuben Brown, who was a #1 choice, the Buffalo Bills. He's a fine talent.
First down at the 31. Play action. And out to Jells, who's wide open. They gave him a lot of room, and he's up to the 40-yard line, about a yard short of the first down. So Pitt goes to the air earlier, Tim.
You know, and they're going to have to put some pressure on Ryan, because right now he is so comfortable and in a rhythm sitting back there at quarterback that he's just picking them apart right now.
Defensive line for Texas, Tony Bracken's the all-everything defensive end, and he is a good one. He dictates what offenses can do. They run everything away from him.
He's the Longhorns' best player overall. Started 17 games in a row. He's durable.
But second down and 2 at the 39. First running play, and there's Patton. Straight ahead to the 47-yard line. So Pitt moving the ball on this Texas defense early on, and both of these defenses last year struggled. They both put a lot of points on the board. Their offenses did. You look at the Texas linebackers, and Reeves and Reed coming off of injuries last year. But the coaches really feel like not only the linebackers, but this defense has a lot more speed than in '94.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. Reed played alongside All-American linebacker Wilfred Tubbs the last couple of years. Now he's alongside Renfro. He is a tremendous talent.
First and 10, and Pitt operates out of the eye. And here's Patton wrapped up in the backfield. Number 40, Robert Reed. We just mentioned him, and he was in there in a hurry.
See, here's a guy that has gotten stronger. He's gotten quicker. He's gotten better. He took over the outside linebacker spot when Anthony Curl left, played alongside Tubbs. But just look at the quickness. Look how he reads. So many guys are technical. They're worried about their feet, their steps, the read, the progression. He just runs to the football.
Reed is senior out of Converse, Texas. And for the first time, we get a look at the freshman, Demetrius Harris. And at the running back spot for Pitt, they give it to Harris. To the outside, this guy can burn it. To the 45 of Texas, and you'll love watching him play. Johnny Majors doesn't want to start him early on, but you see early on in the third series, he's in right away.
You know, when you talk to the coaches, they're very casual about Harris. They say he makes a few mistakes, but he's a great talent.
Right, Westbrook, the leader in that secondary. Westbrook, a knee injury last year. That's sent out the last 6 games, but it's a secondary that the coaches feel is better than last year as well.
He's got good size for a cornerback, too. He's a hard hitter.
Snyder and Harris in the backfield on 3rd and 2. A long count for Ryan, and now he goes to throw. Jells the intended receiver, and incomplete. The coverage by Westbrook.
Number 26.
So that brings up 4th down. The punt team comes on for Pitt. But remember, Pitt is in Texas territory. So if you're playing defense, immediately you have to think fake punt. Be aware of it. Make sure he does punt the ball.
Nate Cochran, 8 punts on the year for a 48-yard average. And Mike Adams is back deep for Texas.
Try to pooch this thing inside of 20.
High kick. Adams calls for the fair catch at his own 13-yard line. So that's where Texas will start on their first series early on here in the first.
Tackles Colorado.
Texas takes over at its own 13-yard line. James Brown, the man who will lead the way, the QB, who is 5-0 as a starter. You look at his numbers, completed almost 70% of his passes last year. And we talked to James to get his thoughts on this offense and how good they could be.
I think our offense is going to be very explosive this year. We have great running backs, receivers. We have our line, offensive line, they're good. You just have to. Everyone just have to learn their positions because we have the freshman running backs with Sean and Ricky. Have to get them in knowing exactly what they're doing every play. But I think once we get everything together, it's going to surprise a lot of people.
Much more vocal and more confident this year. That's what they say about James Brown. 1st and 10 at the 13. Ricky Williams alone set back. Here's Williams straight ahead for about 3 yards. And Roderick Humphrey, number 51, made the stop. Couple of young backs in this backfield for Texas. As we take a look at the Chile starting lineup, Ricky Williams, a freshman out of San Diego, and Mike Adams, the wideout, a junior, and he can absolutely fly. Sean Mitchell in the backfield as well, a junior college transfer. So 2 first-year players, and more speed than at any time since perhaps Eric Metcalf roamed these sidelines in the mid-'80s. 2nd and 6. And Brown to throw. And broken up. The intended receiver, Matt Davis. And a nice play by Anthony Dorsett. Yeah, you know the name. The son of TD, Tony Dorsett.
Boy, I tell you what, that was a tremendous break on the football. He read it, he reacted to it, and he knocked it away like a pro.
Well, the offensive line for Texas also shuffled up. You've got 3 starters back, but they're not playing their regular position, the position they played last year, Tim.
Yeah, all Southwest Conference. Elmore, he's moved from left guard to left tackle, replacing Brockermeyer. All the way across, they've moved some guys around to best benefit the offense and give them strength up front.
On 3rd and 6, here's Brown to throw. Got a man complete at the 34. And a first down. Justin McLemore, a junior out of Fort Worth on the catch, and they'll move the chains.
Boy, McLemore, they call him Sweet Feet. You just watch him and watch how he separates from the defender. Just a quick move right here. Stop, now drift in. Good read, come back for the ball. This guy's in his 6th year. Got his extra year because of a knee injury. He was a high school quarterback, 400-meter hurdles, 7-foot high jumper. That's what kind of athlete you're talking about at wide receiver.
And now they operate out of the eye on first down. Here's Sean Mitchell. We see him for the first time and wrapped up in the backfield. He may have lost one. David Sumner, the outside linebacker from Northport, New York, in on the stop. And for Pitt, defensively, this is how they line up this afternoon. It's T.D. Moody, Tyler Young, and Jared Miller, but they're all led by Mike Hallepin, perhaps the best lineman on this team.
NFL likes him a lot. He's playing with a hyperextended elbow. Did that last week. Got it taped up, but he says it's not bothering him too much to play.
2nd and 10 at the 32. And Williams alone setback this time. Brown to throw. And hit, and the ball's on the ground. And Pitt believes they have it. They do. They do. Jared Miller, the junior from Kittanning, Pennsylvania, in on the sack. And Hallepin may have recovered it.
This looked like a jailbreak. I don't know what kind of protection broke down up front, but just watch 55 Miller. They say he's not very fast. He's smart. Came on the backside, and when he made the hit, he also stripped the ball. Pitt now has tremendous field position. The 27. Look at the backside. There is absolutely no way Brown could feel it. Brown had no clue he was even coming.
Never touched. So Pitt takes over at the 28. And a great opportunity for Ryan and the troops here. Harris in the backfield. And he gets the call. Going nowhere. Wrapped up at the 30 by Tyson King. King, a junior from El Campo, Texas. Led this team in tackles last year with 90.
Johnny Majors, his goal this season coming in after 2 straight 3-8 seasons is to cut down on the mistakes his club makes. He says, I want them to play hard, but don't turn the ball over. Play smart. Hold on to it.
Now, there are 2 wins against Washington State and Eastern Michigan. That's the one thing he's pointed to. They make too many mistakes. 2nd and 12 after the loss of 2. Ryan to throw. Incomplete. He underthrew his intended receiver, Keith Jackson.
That ball was tipped. That's the first real pressure Texas has gotten on Ryan today. Good pressure by Tony Brackens. Also, Stoney Clark was there.
Well, it's well chronicled. John Ryan, not a picturesque passer. I mean, he's not a guy you look at and you think, boy, there's a style you'd like to emulate, but he's gotten the job done.
Harry, it amazes me when we talked to him. The first thing he said was, I'm not a very good athlete.
He admitted it. 3rd and 12 at the 30. Here's Harris in the draw, ahead for maybe a yard. That's about it. And let's go to New York and check in with our buddy John Saunders.
Thanks, Terry. For Alabama in week 1, it was Vanderbilt.
Alabama's been dodging it for how long now? How many close games do they play? And we're back to get them today. So it's 4th and 12. The first real big play of the game here. Tim, and they're going for it. Harris in the backfield and Ryan in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the near side. And it's complete to Sadiq Durham over the middle, but a whistle had blown. There's a flag on the play. And they blew it dead before the catch.
It's going to be against Pittsburgh, too.
Dead ball, delay of game, just the offense.
That's a shame.
Yeah, the referee Terry Monk telling us infraction against Pittsburgh, illegal motion, and that's a big call there.
It's caused by the crowd. See, this is a good crowd, understands football, brought that level up. Consequently, out of the shotgun, John Ryan had a tough time getting his signals called. Center couldn't hear him and snapped it late. He was back there seemingly forever waiting for the snap.
About 60,000 here today, maybe a little bit more than that. And it is a loud stadium. So it backs him up 5. It's 4th and 17, but now they're at the 35, and obviously no thoughts of going for it. So here is Cochran into punt once again. High snap. And just outside the reach of Gels and into the end zone. So they'll bring it back out to the 20. CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Beechwood Age Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And the Document Company, Xerox. 7:40 left in the first here in Austin, Texas, and Don McAvick just dodged a bullet. They take over at their own 20. Fitzgerald, the tight end, in motion, and Brown to throw. He underthrew his intended receiver. That was Mike Adams. He was open too. Adams, a junior out of Arlington, Texas, and a good one. And a look at the linebackers led by Tom Tumulty. We talked about him in the open, the all-everything linebacker for Pitt.
Pitt's gone to a 4-3 scheme. Pitt will cheat the linebackers. It's solid, improved, and contain conscious. They want to utilize their linebackers as much as possible.
Middle linebacker Roderick Humphrey getting a start today as John McCray, I think, has an ankle injury. Here's Mitchell, and he can fly, and just tripped up at the 40-yard line. A great block by the left tackle John Elmore, and Darrell Cash saved a touchdown.
All right, watch number 66 on the left side. See him right there all the way to the left of the screen. Just locks him up. Then you get the back out of the backfield. Williams to throw you a key block, and then it's speed. Mitchell's a junior college All-American speed guy who can really slash, get through those real little holes. He got a lot of help that time. Tremendous blocking by the Longhorns.
Grew up here in Austin, Texas, went to LBJ High School, one of the most highly recruited seniors coming out of LBJ a couple of years ago. Brown to throw. Overthrows his intended receiver. That's Quentin Wallace, and no one had a chance at that. The coverage by Anthony Dorsett.
That ball was tipped a little bit, but he just doesn't look comfortable right now. He's not throwing real well.
And the backs, Cash Williams, Jenkins, and Anthony Dorsett, the son of Tony Dorsett. And everyone at Pitt believes that he really is going to be a good one by the end of this year. He's really developed.
You know the key there, this is only his second year playing cornerback. Bench is 400 pounds. He's a good cover guy. He's going to be a good one. He just needs more experience. I mean, he's a track guy. He's got the speed.
James Brown only 1 for 4 so far, 15 yards. There goes Adams in motion. To give to Ricky Williams, and not going to get there. Struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Jared Miller on the stop. And Tim, you talk about what each team has to do today. What do you think?
Well, I think for Pittsburgh, they've got to mix and execute. The Panthers are looking for a balanced attack, setting up the pass with a run, so they have to mix and execute and do it without error. And then big plays hurt Pitt last year. This has been a focal point for Pitt. They've got to contain and cut off and limit the long plays. For Texas, speed kills. You talked about more speed than they've ever had. And then hunt and confront. They've got to put pressure on John Ryan. He hadn't been sacked. He's gotten very comfortable, and they're giving him time, so he's unbelievably confident right now.
3rd and 11, and Wayne McGarity in as the running back now for Mitchell. Over the middle, here's Mike Adams. He can do something once he gets it. Caught from behind at the 37-yard line. Roderick Humphrey, the middle linebacker, caught him. But Adams, who was out most of last year with a knee injury, had a big 1993 and starting well again this year.
It's the first well-thrown ball we've seen today. I mean, that one was thrown right there between the 8 and the 3. Of course, you get it to Adams, then you just let him run. He's the first-team all-conference guy when he was playing. They call him the playmaker. That's his nickname, and you see his career stats. Now that he's healthy again, squared away academically, mentally, everything else, he's ready to play.
Ready to play in a big game. But
on the offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat the down.
They'll bring it back. So we've seen both teams with flags that have really hurt them.
You know, it's interesting. You've got Wallace out at one split end and Adams at the other for Texas. Split end Curtis Jackson hurt his knee during the summer. He's just now coming back. Action Jackson, he's from Plano, Texas. He was one of the fab freshmen that they brought in here. So they're just starting to get guys back and healthy. And as Coach Makovic sat and talked to us yesterday, he was so comfortable and confident in his team because of the increased speed. And he's got everybody back. There aren't any problems. Everybody's healthy.
Even though they're young. 6 true freshmen started their first game. You've got a couple of redshirt freshmen and junior college transfers too. Brown overthrows Adams this time and almost picked off, and everything's up high.
That ball was tipped too. That's why they're sailing on him. They're getting hands on him at the line. Keep in mind, Brown is just barely 6 feet. I don't even think he was that when we were talking to him yesterday.
I'm not sure. I'm right at 6, and I'm not sure he came up to that.
No, he was a little bit under that. Of course, he's going against linemen Moody, Halpin, Young, and Miller. They're all well over 6'3". Halpin 6'5" and Young 6'4", so he's got to find the alleys, the channels to throw to.
Mark Butler back deep for Pitt.
Mark Butler deep receiving.
Mark Schultz in the punt. And a high punt and a good one. That's Butler up to the 17th. The head for a couple of yards, but good coverage on a very good kick by Schultz. We are still scoreless here in Austin. 49-yard punt, 5-yard return. We're scoreless here at Memorial Stadium. Terry Gannon along with Tim Brand and John Spagnola, who's down on the field. John?
Thanks, Terry. You know, occasionally a player is so dominating on defense that an offense, the game plan has to revolve around identifying his whereabouts on every play. Tony Bracken's a defensive end will be moving all over the place today. The Pitt offensive line has got to locate number 98 if they want to move the football. Timmy?
Well, I'll tell you something, Spags. They are looking for him as soon as they break the huddle. The best place for this guy is in a 5 technique or right around that tackle. They move him around. He's so strong, as you mentioned, their best player. He's really been getting some pretty good penetration here, and he's been working against the right side of that Pitt offensive line.
So Pitt takes over at their own 23-yard line. Schneider and Harris in the backfield. It's Harris. And gets outside to gain a couple. He made something out of nothing.
And just as we talked about Brackens that time, he got sandwiched. He was crushed. See, this time they've got him what they call the 5 technique, just inside that offensive tackle. Now watch this. He tries to slide down. Now here comes the tight end. And watch what happens. Boom. Brackens is gone. He's out of the play. And they still aren't going to let these guys go.
As Brian Curran down on the turf and still going after Brackens.
Well, Curran's, you know, used to be an offensive lineman. He's 6'5", 270. I mean, an interior guy. Right tackle and guard last year.
2nd and 6, and Ryan to throw. He's got a man open. That's Durham, and he's got room up the sideline. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line, and a perfect pass from John Ryan to Sadiq Durham, a senior out of the Bronx, and a walk-on until right before the first game this year against Washington State.
It's a great story. He's a walk-on. Had to get a note from his mom to come out and play, but he has earned a scholarship. This guy's only 19 years old. He's a tremendous story. We'll talk about him a little bit later because John and I were talking to him yesterday. He's upset. Some of the commentators around the country have been dogging Pitt. He didn't like it, but this guy is only 5'6". Now you tell me little guys can't play Division 1A football. I mean, this is fantastic.
5'6", and they list him at 160 pounds, so you know he's not quite 160.
He's got quicks, though.
47 yards on the pass and catch, and there goes Harris to the outside. I mean, he can't get there. Gain of about 1. On 1st and 10, he gets to the 25-yard line. Monday night on ABC, it's the season premiere of The Marshal as he is caught in the middle of a supermarket hostage situation. Jeff Fahey stars as the Marshal. Then the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Dan Marino and the guys from Miami on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. It's all on Action Monday on ABC.
The old Danny's going to look across that line and not see Woodson out there. Woodson's not playing, and he's just going to start grinning ear to ear.
A little bit different. 2nd and 9 after the gain of 1. Play action for Ryan. Throws it up for Durham. And caught by Trey Thomas, but well out of bounds. And Ryan under pressure that time for the first time.
But you know what, Terry? See, that's where he has improved. And I'm talking about the quarterback, Ryan. First game, he threw 3 interceptions. Said, man, I must have been crazy. I wasn't thinking. Now he comes in here. That was a dangerous pass, but he threw it where only his guy could get it. Or if Texas was going to get to it, it was going to be out of bounds. Very smart.
4 for 7 for 67 yards for John Ryan so far.
Another easy day for Pitt and Penn State and Colorado.
Florida State, Nebraska not having too much trouble either. 3rd and 9, and Harris goes in motion to the far side. over the middle. Caught inside the 10. Harris down to the 8-yard line. So they set him in motion, then they throw to him over the middle. Jason Reeves finally caught him. But a big gain, and they move the chains again.
That guy's an old fox, Johnny. I'll tell you, Johnny Majors, he's been in this game so long. He's so smart. He knows the speed he has right there with Demetrius Harris. Sends him in motion, so a guy's got to trail him across because they were in man coverage. There's nobody that's going to be able to stay up with him, even in motion. So once he crosses the line of scrimmage, he was wide open. Give him some air, some room to run. He's dangerous.
A lot of confidence in Harris, too, using him a lot of different ways. So it's 1st and goal at the 8 for Pitt. Here's Demetrius. Chris Carter was there first. And a host of tacklers joined him, along with Robert Reed. And they stop him right at the line of scrimmage. And Notre Dame rolling this week over Vandy. I think most expected it. Our best to Lou Holtz as he recovers. And the heat, no doubt, will be a factor today. Not only is it hot, but you get that breeze. It's awfully windy here, and that's not a cool breeze coming in the stadium.
You've got to get one of those cool zones up here.
Evan Romito and Chris Patton in the backfield. The out, and it's a touchdown. Dietrich Gels with the catch, and what a catch it was.
Number 26, Dietrich Gels for the touchdown.
Gels with his 5th touchdown catch on the year already.
And there again, Ryan put that ball where only his guy could get it, low into the corner. They were working against the premier player in the secondary, Brian Westbrook. Westbrook was on Gels, and it looked like it was even pass interference before the ball got there.
Well, Ryan threw it well before his break, and when he turned around, it was right there. And Chris Forensic comes on for the extra point try. So Pitt gets on the board first here. Forensic puts it through the upright. So the Panthers score with 3:01 left in the first, and they lead it by a touchdown over the Longhorns.
We talked about Pitt quarterback John Ryan being in a rhythm. Watch this. He's 6 for 9 with a touchdown now. 3-step drop. Impossible to get pressure on a quarterback at that situation. Then threw it low into the outside where only his guy could get it. Watch at the end of this now. They're working on Brian Westbrook, number 30. He's the premier corner cover. Watch this. Gives him a little shove. Boom. Right there. Gel says, who cares? I'm going down anyway to get this ball. Touchdown, Pitt.
And what a catch with the hands down near the turf. And let's go down to John Spagnola.
That's right. Tim, you're right. And Brian Westbrook is definitely thinking fade. That's the part of the end zone where a receiver will go deep and catch that fade pattern. And that's how he's able to break back and make the reception. That's only the 2nd touchdown that Westbrook has given up in 2 years here in Texas.
You know, John, one of the toughest things to teach a young receiver, especially in college, I mean, they learn it on the next level on Sundays, but here is to come back for the football. And these guys are doing it.
Yeah, they're both very well coached teams. You know, both offenses run a pro-style offense, and the origin of that goes back to Tom Landry. Makovic, of course, coached under Tom Landry when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. And Ken Karcher, the offensive coordinator for the Pitt Panthers, was under Dan Reeves as a quarterback there. And, of course, Reeves learned his football from Tom Landry. So they know how to get people open in the passing game.
Yeah, and Karcher, of course, a former quarterback himself.
And last year, both of these offenses, you know, even Pitt, when they were losing, I mean, they put a lot of points on the board as a defense that struggled. 7 plays, 77 yards on the drive. Took over 2.5 minutes off the clock. And Todd Barton in to kick it away. Short kick over on the 28-yard line, and a return of about 1 yard. I don't want that job. Jeffrey Clayton caught that and was sandwiched right away.
You know, those upbacks, when a kick is high like that, they've got to learn to fair catch it. He didn't. It took the pain.
Tonight, the biggest new hit of the season moves to regular time, and spot the Jeff Foxworthy Show at 8/7 Central tonight on ABC, followed by Betty White and Marie Osmond in the premiere of Maybe This Time. Then Pauly Shore stars in Encino Man on the Saturday night movie, all tonight on ABC. So James Brown back out to lead, 1st and 10 at the 29 for Texas. Mitchell in along with Williams. Here's Mitchell to the outside. Ahead for about 3 and then slammed to the turf. Darrell Cash, the left cornerback, in on the stop. Mitchell, a junior college transfer out of Blinn College, but grew up and went to high school in Austin and Darryl Cash, a senior from LA and a hard hitter. One of the top defensive backs to Norris Mosley. Out of the lineup. Had an ankle injury against Washington State in the first game. So some shifting around in the defensive backfield for the Panthers. 2nd and 7. Here's Brown to throw. He's got Williams, and he's got room. He may go. Down to the 19-yard line. David Sumner caught him after Cash turned him inside. And a gain of 48.
This is a great read by Texas. They saw that Pitt was running to the football, so watch. They'll set this play up to the right. Here's the play action. Look right. All right, now throw back to the screen. There is absolutely nobody home. There's one cornerback out here, and Dorsett has absolutely no shot. Now it's all speed, and you've got a speed guy in Ricky Williams carrying it down for the big game.
And they split the backs on 1st and 10 at the 19. Here's Brown to throw in the middle. Off the hands of Adams, who was covered by Darryl Cash, and again just a little bit high with the throw.
I'll guarantee you that backside screen was called from up here in the booth.
And look at this.
This is a touchdown right here. Should have been.
He's got a 1.5 2 steps on Darryl Cash.
James Brown has been high all day with his passes.
Well, he had a couple tips early, Jimmy, and you wonder if maybe
you open my
adjusting and throwing a little bit high. And Sean Mitchell now the lone setback. McLemore to the near side and Davis to the far side. Here's Mitchell to the sideline, to the end zone. Touchdown, Texas. Touchdown run for Sean Mitchell, and Tim, I think they have some speed this year. Mitchell with his first touchdown run of the year. This is a team that defeated Hawaii 38-17. And they are 1-0, but that was a couple of weeks ago.
Boy, it didn't take them long.
No,
you know, Texas has never lost a game with John Makovic when he's had an extra week to prepare. Last week they were off.
Yeah, and he really said it's almost like an opener. I know it's the home opener.
Play of game against the offense. Remain
Well, that's
on the
actually a good
track.
way to look at it, because he's been given the ability to have 12 games this year. So he said, all right, the Hawaii game will be a good experience. It'll be a good warm-up. We'll go over. We'll take care of business. That's a one-game season. Then we'll come back, get ready for Pitt and the rest of the season, the next 11.
Yeah, that's the way they looked at it. You know, their goal coming into the year was just to win that opener, and then you got 2 weeks to prepare for this game at home. So Dawson in for the extra point. He's kicked 48 straight. And make it 49. But there is a flag again on the play. We've seen plenty of those in the first half. And they'll discuss it and sort it out.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. Repeat the track.
They're going to move him back again. Johnny Major says keep moving him back. Make this thing a 50-yard field goal eventually.
And this is the type of mistake that, you know, as a coach, it drives you crazy. And these things should be routine.
Well, they work on it enough. They work on this in special teams segments every practice. Watch the corners. They were cheating back a little bit. You didn't have enough guys on the offensive line, and they called it.
So this makes it basically just about a 30-yard attempt. The extra point.
The streak is on the line here.
48 straight and 49.
He's automatic.
Didn't matter. They push him back, make it a 30-yard attempt, and Dawson comes through again.
Terry, take a look at the touchdown. It didn't take Texas long. Let me set this thing up for you because it was run to perfection. Now look at the left hand of your screen. You watch Elmore and Brooks pull. Here they come. Watch 66 lead Mitchell all the way around. I mean, that's a big guy running. Elmore's 6'3", 295 pounds. He's a 300-pounder. Of course, Mitchell just gets behind that big body, and he's a speedster, and they ran that play to perfection.
Well, they're used to it at that position. Blake Brockemeyer now with the Carolina Panthers leading the way last year, and now it's Elmore.
See how they just cut off that corner? We told you that Pitt has to be contained conscious and turn everything back inside, so they funnel it inside. They didn't. Cut off the corner. He got outside and see ya.
And while we have a moment, let's go to New York and check in with John Saunders. A surprise to some people with Fien out, but I don't think anybody expected them to be up 2 touchdowns that early at UCLA. But Oregon, you know, last week with the win over Illinois, the great season that they had last year, and that's a solid football team.
UCLA got a big game last week out of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and how about the big guy this week had a big win against the Globetrotters. The real Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke the streak.
First time they've lost in what, how many years?
All the way back to 1971.
Wow. The Washington Generals, last team to beat them. Dietrich Gels back deep. A 7-7 ball game with 1:39 left in the first quarter. And Gels back 5 yards deep. That's where he was on the opening kickoff of the game, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
In the second quarter, Oklahoma.
And some of the other games around the country today, and in the Southwest Conference, Texas A&M, of course, number 3 in the country and having their way with Tulsa.
R.C. Slocum is loaded. He knows it. He's going to use all of his weapons. They've won a national championship. This could be one of his best shots. He's got a quarterback right now playing so well. Can't even believe it.
Penn State with 66 on the board today. Saw a moment ago where Nebraska had 63 in the first half.
How about Navy and Rutgers coming up later? Navy 1-0.
Yeah. Demetrius Harris tries the right side and ahead for about 3 on first down.
More excitement at Navy right now than they've had since George Welsh was there, with Charlie Weatherby coming in, good young energetic coach.
George Welsh with a great start this year at Virginia, although they got beat at Michigan. That would have been a huge win for the ACC, but I think they're a club that with that game and the 2 consecutive wins, you know, a lot of people looking at the Cavaliers.
If they win this weekend, it's Tech. People will be looking wide-eyed now.
Absolutely. Second and 8 is a 22 for Ryan. Over the middle, and it's picked off at the 38 by Trey Thomas. Down to the 21, and an ill-advised pass by Ryan. And Thomas makes him pay.
You know, John Ryan doesn't have a whip-like release. I mean, he takes time. This time he's looking all the time. Look at his eyes. Look at his helmet right across the middle. Throws into coverage, and it's like Thomas is just waiting there. It looked like they were in a 2-deep zone. All they had to do was read, which they did. Ryan took his time getting it out there. The ball was not zipped. That's a mental mistake by him. Poor decision. And not a very good throw.
Well, in the opening win against Washington State, when he got in trouble was when he tried to do things that maybe he wasn't capable of. And you mentioned it earlier. He admitted to us he's not a great athlete, but he knows how to play the position and make the reads. And this time he tried to do a little too much. And here's the reverse to Adams. He can burn it. And couldn't get a block. Anthony Dorsett runs him out of bounds. And let's go down for a moment to John Spagnola. John?
Thanks, Terry. You know, that interception just thrown by John Ryan. Tim's right. He doesn't have a great gun for an arm, and he is throwing into a pretty stiff breeze. His ball's been dipping. That's why James Brown, you mentioned earlier, his ball's been sailing because he's been throwing downwind. Another note on the interception, the intended receiver, I don't know if you picked it up with Sadiq Durham. He seemed to slip down on the play and wasn't able to break it up. Back to you, Terry.
All right, John. So ball sailing on him, and that's the day we told you about the wind. It was awfully windy, and it's blowing with the Longhorns right now. Here's Brown to throw. Scramble. Cuts up, gets to about the 13-yard line. He has to get to the 10 for the first down.
I don't know if you can feel it, but Texas is just taking control of this ball game. They had a great drive, scored quickly, come back, have the interception. The defense turns it over. They shorten the field here, give the offense a short field to work with. It's like running downhill. They're in control. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. And for Pitt, nobody's containing. Nobody's keeping people inside.
But brings up 3rd and a long 2. And Johnny Majors trying to find a way to stop this Longhorn offense.
Well, they better strap it on right now because Texas is coming at them.
And clock running out on this first quarter. And we are tied up at 7, but Texas looking to put more on the board.
Involves team.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. We begin the second quarter, and Tim, let's take a look at how we got here. 19 yards rushing for Pitt.
Yeah, and it looks like Texas is just getting started. You know, the Ricky Williams 49-yard pass reception was the longest of his Texas career, the longest by a Longhorn running back since Eric Metcalf back in 1976.
Big play, 32 at the 13 for Texas. Brown looks to run straight ahead and close to a first down, but I'm sure they'll measure. And maybe they won't even measure. That looks almost a yard short. So it's an interesting decision here for John McAvick.
Thought it was interesting talking to McAvick yesterday. You know, the Longhorns had Roderick Walker last year. He graduated. Priest Holmes got hurt. He was the MVP of the Sun Bowl. So you think, well, this coach is a little bit concerned. Oh, he's talking about the new guys and how much speed they have.
And Darrell Wilson, one of the old guys from last year, in. There he goes over the left side. I'm not sure. He is stopped right at the line.
He may have lost yardage.
Frank Moore was in there. Roderick Humphrey getting the start at linebacker today in there. And yeah, they threw him backwards. And look at Johnny Majors.
How about that? That is huge. Watch this. Everybody closing down there in short yardage defense. You want to penetrate and establish a new line of scrimmage a yard deep in the opposing team's backfield. That's what they did. They got great penetration, which surprised me on 4th and short like that. You would have thought that offensive line would have been firing out. Instead, they took that little swim move, got inside, shot the gaps, made the hit. Bingo. Turnover.
Well, Frank Moore did not start the game as a backup defensive tackle, but 6'3", 275 pounds of a sophomore, and he made the big hit.
Turn it over on downs. That's big.
So Pitt takes over at their own 12. And straight ahead is Chris Patton for a couple. Chris Patton, a senior out of Pittsburgh, and you've seen Demetrius Harris in there as well. Of course, you haven't seen Billy West, the leading rusher in the Big East last year.
He was the offensive player of the year, as you mentioned, in the Big East. He's got a dislocated collarbone. Ran for over 1,300 yards in '94, but he's gone. So Patton and Harris come in, and Patton's a fullback type runner, but they put him at tailback.
Yeah, he's a bruiser. He'll run you north and south. And a broken play, Ryan looking to run. And looking to go down to the turf in a hurry.
He was funny. He says, I'm not much of an athlete. I can tell you that right now. And on that play, he looked like a lost puppy.
Well, you go against Tony Brackens, I'm not sure you look like an athlete anytime. But,
no, that's true. You know, you talk about Ryan. He's the Big East efficiency leader. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, although he did throw the interception. But he is special because of his knowledge of the game. He's a very smart quarterback. He really doesn't truly have a lot of mobility, but he knows that. So he plays within himself, and he gets the job done. He's a terrific guy.
3rd and 3 at the 19. Harris looking for room. He has a seam. And he has the first down. Chris Carter wrapped him up. And a lot of green field ahead if it weren't for Chris Carter. Carter, a junior out of Tyler, Texas.
Got a Texas player hurt.
Look at Harris.
That's Brackens.
Oh, that would be big.
Look at this move here, and he got the big kick outside. He's special, Harris, and he's going to break some big plays. But what got my attention is still down on the field is Tony Brackens. Well, he started 17 games in a row, 2-time All-Southwest Conference, the Longhorns' best player. They do not want to lose him. All the way to the right hand of your screen, number 98. See him there? That's Brackens. Watch, he gets rolled up on by his own guy. Looked like Jeff Craig pushed the guy right into him. He got rolled up on, but he is walking off the field under his own power, so that's the good news.
Looked like the left knee,
and they were working on that leg.
Yeah, but that's a good sight, because when we left for commercial, he was flat out on the ground.
Bad thing is, on AstroTurf, you get rolled up on. If that leg is planted, the foot doesn't give. The turf won't give way.
Now, Ryan Bosick, a senior out of Smithfield, Texas, in for Tony Brackens now. 1st and 10. There goes Harris. Look about the 30-yard line. Dusty Renfro, a freshman.
Hey, Terry, don't you just have a feeling that Harris is going to break one?
Oh, you know he is.
I mean, you just watch him. A couple times he's almost done it. You just have that feeling he's going to break loose.
Was it last week a 55-yard run against Eastern Michigan? And he's been close today on a couple of accounts.
He averages an incredible 11 yards every time he touches it.
2nd and 7 after the gain of 3. They go back to Harris, and he is collared right at the line of scrimmage. They hit him low, they hit him high. Robert Reed, the man who hit him high.
Tell you what, he can't break it if you don't let him get started, and that's what happens here. Outstanding penetration this time. King is there. The linebackers come up. There's outside containment. Here comes Reed. Number 40 locks him up down low. Everybody else comes up top, and Rink gets a free shot.
So no gain on the play. Now 3 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. And Ryan operating out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Over the middle, there's Durham. He has a first down, and has he been a big play man for them? You know, we mentioned him earlier, 5'6", about 160 pounds. He was a walk-on right before the first game this year against Washington State, awarded a scholarship. And he has been a very important, not only possession receiver, but a deep threat as well for them.
Nothing fancy about this. I thought that was pretty nice. It was a zone defense. He recognized that and just kind of slid into the open area. He had 8 receptions against Washington State, 4 last week against Eastern Michigan. It's been a factor here this afternoon, 3 today.
To the School of Art and Design in the Bronx. 1st and 10. There's Patton pulling his way ahead for a gain of about 4 to the 44-yard line. And don't forget, coming up on the Prudential halftime report, John Saunders will have scores and highlights from all of today's action. Plus, we'll hear from Nebraska's head coach Tom Osborne regarding the Cornhuskers' controversy off the field. No controversy on the field today. 63 points at the half, but certainly one of those things, Tim, that a lot of coaches have to deal with. It is you're not only coaching these days, you're dealing with a lot of stuff off the field.
Yeah, Dr. Tom's handling it well too, but you have to be a babysitter, you have to be an academic advisor, you have to be a parent away from home, and a football coach, everything.
2nd and 5. There's Patton, and he may have another first down. He's near midfield. Stoney Clark wrapped him up.
Well, you mentioned the problems off the field in Nebraska, and we talked about the coaches and their responsibilities today. John Makovic said yesterday, you know, when there's a problem off the field, all the fans and everybody out there in society says, hey, I want you to punish this kid. Yet all the players that you're with every day say, hey, coach, give him another chance. He's a kid. So the coach is caught in the middle.
Absolutely. And, you know, the thing is, coaches, after all, are supposed to be here for the kids. I mean, that's why we're playing the game, for the kids. And it is a tough job these days.
Of course, the accusations out in Nebraska are very, very serious.
Measurement and another first down for the Panthers. And Tim, they've been able to move the ball. Mistakes have hurt them.
This is a team right now playing with a great deal of confidence. I mean, 3-8 last year, 3-8 the year before, but now they start 2-0. Pitt has not opened a season 2-0 since 1991 when it started 5-0. Of course, that team stumbled at the end and finished 6-5.
National championship back in 1976. Johnny Majors, Tony Dorsett. Chris Patton with the carry again. He goes straight ahead for about 3 yards. Stoney Clark again in on the tackle. Stoney Clark, a senior out of Gladewater, Texas, and an interesting guy. We've covered many a game with Stoney, and writes poetry, writing his own autobiography. He said, why not? You know, why do you have to be 60, 70 years old when you write your autobiography?
Here's a guy, 320 pounds. He's UT's heaviest player. He's been playing since he was a freshman.
So 2nd and 6 at the 47. Keeping it on the ground for Patton ahead. He fights his way for about 3 yards. Tyson King, the inside linebacker, along with his mate there, Dusty Renfro.
You know, I go back to Johnny Majors, and of course he's getting some good play calling from Ken Karcher, but what they're doing is very interesting. They're banging away, bringing their fullback type runner, Chris Patton, who's well over 200 pounds, and he's banging in the middle, and then they'll give you a quick changeup, just like a pitcher in baseball, bring Harris in.
And now they bring in Kevin Romito, the backup fullback, and they've got Demetrius Harris, who can get outside on you.
Hammer, 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 then hit you with quickness.
So 3rd and 2. Gills wide to the near side. There goes Harris ahead. He's got a first down to the 41-yard line. Tyson King, number 50, made the stop, but they will move those chains ahead again. So Johnny Majors' club keeping the ball on the ground during this drive and moving it. The top 25, what they've done. Florida State with the win over NC State, Nebraska winning, Texas A&M, and Florida losing today.
You know, that Florida State score, I looked at it against NC State. It was 7-7. I turned my back and I came back. They were 3 touchdowns ahead.
We left the hotel with a 7-7 and 77 to 17. Demetrius Harris ahead for a couple of yards.
He's brought down by number 46, Dusty Renfro.
And, they have stayed on the ground for 12 plays during this drive.
On the 38-yard line.
The rest of the AP top 25 and what they're doing today. Northwestern a favorite today in their game, which has not happened in a while.
Notre Dame winning with Bob Davie as the interim coach as Lou Holtz continues to recover from the surgery he had to remove pressure on the spinal cord. Lou's up and walking around, though. We wish him only the best.
Snyder and Harris in the backfield on 2nd and 8 to the air, and somebody ran the wrong route or Ryan read it wrong.
No, I think Ryan threw it away. That was a smart play.
He may have. Under pressure, Chris Carter was back there with good coverage. On next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC's College Football. Most of you will see the 10th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes take on these Pittsburgh Panthers, and number 3 Texas A&M battling Colorado next week as well. Other regional action going on too. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Call your local cable operator for the games available on pay-per-view. 3rd and 8, a big play here, Tim.
Big 3rd down is right for Ryan.
Over the middle, there's Harris fighting near a first down. I don't think he got there, though. Tyson King grabbed him by the ankle and knocked him down.
You know, this is a young guy here now. This shows a freshman. He knows where the sticks are, or he should know, but he doesn't act like it once he makes the catch. All right, here's the catch. Turn it up right now. Turn it up. You got to get across that yard marker. It's too late. He tried to run lateral and finally went down, and they come up short of the first. I think I'd go for it here.
Now, yeah, 4th and about 2 of the 32.
Johnny Majors is going to go for it. Gutsy call. Good call.
Went for it earlier in the game, and the penalty flag sent him back.
You know what? They got the flag. They drew Texas off sides. Unless a guy moved on that offensive line, they're going to get the first spot penalty.
Well, we'll wait and see, but Chris Carter pleading his case as if it would go against Texas.
We have offside on the defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Move the chains. Watch Shane Rink, 73. Boom, there he is. Right side of your screen. He moves. Once he does that, it's like Pavlov's dogs. They all go.
So a big penalty earlier on 4th down against Pitt, and this time against Texas. Well, they get a first down, and it moves it to the 27-yard line.
You know, I'm not even sure Johnny Majors had a play called there. I think he was just trying to draw him off.
You wanted to drive him off?
Yeah.
Snyder and Patton in the backfield out of the odd. Here comes Patton straight ahead. Inside the 25 to the 24. John Spagnuolo, you down on the field?
Hey, Terry, temperatures now are, as you can see, about 110 degrees. This is a thermometer, as you can see, not a thermometer. So the place you want to be on the sidelines, I have finally learned, is in the shade of Big Bertha, the biggest bass drum in the world. John, is it cool right here?
John, we've got a better place for you. Go over to the cool zone. I want to see you get spritzed.
I'm headed right over.
What happened to your shirt specs?
I think you already got spritzed.
Oh, it's nice and cool up in the booth all of a sudden. 2nd and 8 at the 25. There goes Patton trying the right side. And down at the 20. I'm not sure who got the worst end of that deal. Bryant Westbrook, the cornerback who took him on.
You know, that's a great thing about a defensive player, though. Even if Westbrook was feeling the pain of the head-on collision with Patton, he's not going to show you. The key is to get up first and act like you're not hurt, even if you can't even breathe.
Westbrook about 195 pounds, and Patton goes at least 210.
Watch this. Patton now, once he gets out, squares up. Now it's head-on. Boom. Westbrook pops up first.
Over 8 minutes taken off the clock on this drive. Another key 3rd down play as Ryan goes to the shotgun.
Pitt's been impressive, haven't they?
To the air, Durham with another big catch. inside the 10 down to the 6-yard line. And another first down, and they need a big play from the receivers. You know, last year throughout his career it's been Gels, but this year so far Sadiq Durham has been the man.
He's a neat little guy. He's only 5'6", as we mentioned earlier. He's got good quicks. He's very, very intelligent. This is a kid that went to kindergarten when he was 3 years old.
Yeah, he's only 20 years old, just turned 20.
Yeah, just turned 20. Started the season 19 years of age. Look at him. Like he's tap dancing on a light bulb. He's got those quick feet, moves inside.
I like that. So first and goal at the 6 on a long drive for Pitt here in the second quarter. Demetrius Harris hit, bounces off inside the 5 to about the 4. Ray Thomas and Chris Carter finally wrapped him up. Tyson King in early to hit him as well.
Pitt's in the 4-down area too, and as they look across, one of the keys early on is they were going to locate Brackens, find out where he was lined up, because John Makovic was moving Brackens around. They had him inside, outside, moving him a little bit. But Brackens is not in the ball game now, so they're down in this 4-down area, and it gives Pitt a lot of leeway on what they can do.
Yeah, you're right. And they've been able to keep it on the ground throughout too. Couple of passes in there, but it's been Patton running, Harris running for the most part. Over the middle, incomplete. And Mark Butler, the intended receiver, he wanted an interference call.
You know, it should have been an interference call. No flag.
His path was impeded, no question about it. Let's go down to John Spagnola.
Thanks, Terry. Tony Brackens, Timmy Brandt was just mentioning him. Tony Brackens went off the field. He has a twisted knee, and they're going to examine it right now. They're not quite sure how severe it is or whether or not he will return to the game.
All right, John.
Another reason they shouldn't have AstroTurf, Spags.
It's been an issue in the NFL, and
I hated playing on it. I hate to watch it now.
3rd and goal to the end zone and almost picked off. Haji Allen with the tip.
Now go ahead and line it up and get your 3 points.
Yeah.
Forget about going for it here.
But Tim, they went back to the same play that they got the touchdown on, only to the different side of the field.
Well, you know, I thought John Ryan had a good complaint when he too was calling for pass interference. The ball was in the air. He kind of just tried to feather it. While the ball was in the air, he got pushed and shoved a little bit down there trying to receive it, and it should have been a flag.
So a little confusion down in the field as they line up with a field goal try. Chris Forensic 2 for 2 on the year, as long as a 41-yarder. This is a 22-yard field goal attempt.
He's 2 for 2 this year.
Spot up, and it is good. So a 22-yard field goal by Chris Forensic, and Pitt takes the lead 10-7 with 3:50 left in the first half. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. How about this last drive for Pitt? 21 plays, 83 yards, and it took over 10.5 minutes off the board.
Yeah, and the most impressive thing to me, Terry, is the fact that here they are on the road playing in a hostile environment here at Texas, which is a great football crowd. Texas scores, looks like they're taking control of the game, and Pitt still comes back, maintains its composure, gets a good drive going, plays within itself, and ends up with 3 points.
And you wonder when heat will be a factor. We just talked to John Spagnola. It was well over 100 down on the field.
It's been a factor with Spags.
Now you look at the drive that ended in the field goal by Forensic. So it's 10-7. Pitt with the lead with 3:50 left here in the first half. And Todd Barton on to kick it away. Mike Adams back 4 yards deep, and he will go to one knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20. And Monday, ABC's NFL Monday Night Football heads south for a classic AFC matchup. The Steelers, with a record of 2-0, fine start to this year, facing Dan Marino and the unbeaten Miami Dolphins. That's Monday night Live at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific here on ABC Sports.
Steelers played well without Neil O'Donnell, even though he was out. Tomzak came in. But the thing is, Miami's on a roll, and Danny Marino is on a mission.
Yeah, you mentioned Woodson being out as well. So Marino's eyes light up. James Brown to pass on first. Has McLemore out there, but he overthrew him at the 40-yard line. Coverage by Anthony Dorsett. And John Jenkins as well, number 15.
John Jenkins, number 15.
McLemore, a senior who was out much of last year with a knee injury, and you look up and down this roster for Texas, and you can almost say that for every spot. I mean, they had a lot of injuries last year. They had some suspensions. You mentioned that earlier, Tim, and this year, not much of that at all. They have most of their squad intact. 2nd and 10, Fitzgerald in motion, the tight end, but straight ahead. That's Ricky Williams, the short burst, and he gains about 6 on the play. John McCray, the middle linebacker, number 67, made the tackle.
Terry, Johnny Major's defensive philosophy has never contained a magic number in it, a point total. That if you hold this team to so many points, you know, you'll win. That assures it. He just wants his players to be aggressive, consistent, run to the ball, and have bad intentions when they get there.
Well, you look at Virginia, 41-14. They beat Georgia Tech, so
they've opened everybody's eyes now.
Still may have a ways to go to catch Florida State in the ACC, huh?
Yeah, but I really thought they were going to beat Michigan on that first weekend.
Another tip pass, Maurice Harris. Put the hand up to block a James Brown pass, and that's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a ball tipped on James Brown today.
Maurice Harris, number 90.
And it brings up 4th down, so Johnny Majors has to be pleased with the way things have gone. Brown just 2 of 9 for 64 yards at this point. Mark Schultz in the punt, and Mark Butler back deep for Pitt. And off the side of his foot, shanked it. Butler getting out of the way, and it takes a Texas bounce, so they get a break as he really shanked it. Yeah, down to the 26-yard line. 45 yards on the punt as they get the favorable bounce. Pitt leads Texas 10-7 late in the first half. You know, Johnny Majors coach Tony Dorsett. What about Anthony, the man playing now?
He's more confident now. He is a pretty strong young man. He's bigger than Tony. He's about 6 feet tall, 195 or so. He reminds you of Tony with his speed. He does have excellent speed, and he has some strength, great physique, and he's becoming more confident, tougher, and more knowledgeable about football. Again, he hasn't played much, so he's now really learning more about what it takes to be a football player.
Hey, yeah, the Dorsetts. Tony, some years ago, that was back in the 70s, and Anthony on the right.
Said Anthony hadn't played much. 2nd year playing, but he does bench 400 pounds. He's a good cover guy, and he's got that tremendous speed Johnny talked about.
First down at the 27. Here goes Harris, straight ahead for about 4 yards. Tremaine Brown in there along with Stoney Clark on the stop. Well, they've moved him around quite a bit, too. Speaking of Dorsett, you know, he came in, played some free safety, and now at cornerback, but he played some outside linebacker as well.
Well, he said he tried him at running back at one point.
And there goes Harris walking off gingerly right now, and a little bit of break here, so we go down to John Spagnola on the sidelines. John?
You guys are talking about Anthony Dorsett. I just ran into a Texas fan on the sideline. He pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Dorsett out there on the field, is that any relation to Tony Dorsett?" I said, "Yeah, it's his son." He went, "Oh, man."
Get that reaction anywhere you go, I believe. First Patton ahead for about a yard. That's about it. So the defensive line of these Longhorns tightening up a bit. Tremaine Brown and Stoney Clark again in on the stop.
Guy's saying, "Is that his son? I must be middle-aged then." Hate when that happens.
You know, Anthony was actually born during Tony's first road trip in college. His first game, they went on the road to Georgia. And that weekend was when Anthony was born.
You know, Tony still looks very young, too.
3rd and a long 5 for the Panthers at the 32. And this one's Tipped and batted down. Gels, the intended receiver. Robert Reed and Stoney Clark may have been the man to get the paw.
You may say it's overrated, but a quarterback that locks on his receiver with his eyes and just doesn't come off. I mean, it's telegraphing things, and the defense just flows to it. That's what happened that time. Everybody came down, stayed with him. He threw right into the big hands that were standing from the defensive line.
Well, especially if you're throwing to Dietrich Gels, who is going to draw double coverage most of the time anyway. Adams back deep. Cochran's punt. Adams at the 20. A lot of white jerseys, and he falls ahead to the 28-yard line. So a good punt for Cochran. 48 yards, and Adams brought it back 7. Back in Austin, Texas, a good look at Memorial Stadium. Terry Gannon along with Tim Brand and John Spagnola. And Pitt with Texas with first and 10 at the 28-yard line. James Brown under center. Play action on the roll. Complete to Adams at the 45-yard line. He's had a couple of sail off his hand. Jim Williams, a strong safety on the coverage, but a gain of 17 to Mike Adams.
They're going to go to the hurry-up offense now. They know that you got to work against the clock with 1:08 left. They work on this every day. Again, it's kind of a zone coverage. Actually, there was man. They had a combination zone to one side, man to the backside.
So first down at the 45 now. The quick out to McLemore. And he's out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Pitt. So 2 quick completions. Anthony Dorsett wrote him out of bounds.
This is what Pitt has been able to avoid. And the reason is Pitt has dominated the time of possession. They've had it for almost 21 minutes here in the first half. You do that, you keep the ball out of the hands of the offense. You do that on the road, a lot of times you're going to win.
Now, they had one drive that led to the field goal of 10.5 minutes. So under a minute here to close out the first half. Brown rolling, and now pitches to Mitchell. And he's out of bounds after a gain of about 3, and that's a first down. Tyler Young ran him out of bounds, and you see the clock at 50 right now.
Boy, somebody threw a terrific block on David Sumner. He recovered in time to make the tackle, but you watch number 46 on the outside here. He gets cut up, see, and it bounces off the ground and runs him out of bounds, but he was taken down with a good block.
First down for Brown. Over the middle to his tight end Fitzgerald, who fights his way, a gain of about 8. And the clock's still running.
You know, that's a nightmare if you're on defense. You're out there for the entire first half. It's over 100 degrees on the field. The AstroTurf holds the heat. And all of a sudden now with a minute left, when you're tired, your tongue's hanging out, you're going to have to go tackle Fitzgerald, who's 6'2", 230 pounds.
Well, they get a breather right now at least, so timeout to Texas as they contemplate their next move here and try to stop that clock from running.
Well, the thing here is you want to get points. And if you're Johnny Majors, obviously you want to avoid it. But the thinking is, and I know that sounds simple and simplistic, but John Makovich's thinking here is, let's get it down where Phil Dawson can take a shot at it. He's 5 for 5 on the extra points. He's 14 of 15 inside the 47 last year from field goals. This is an accurate kicker who's got a pretty decent leg. So if we get it down, we get at least 3. Let's take our shots now with 39 seconds. We've got 2 more plays before we have to think about the field goal.
Well, John Makovich obviously knows the passing game too. Spent years with the Kansas City Chiefs as the head man there in the mid-'80s. Of course, was the head coach at Illinois and prior to that at Wake Forest. But he brings a lot of that NFL experience to the collegiate game.
You know, you try to avoid stating the obvious when you say he wants to get points, but you see how hard he's studying that play sheet he's got, that menu. He knows what he has in short yardage. He knows their prevent defense. He's trying to strike on that right now.
McLemore and Adams to the near side, Davis to the far side. Brown looking for room near the sideline and runs out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So another first down on the big gain by James Brown. A gain of 14.
This play only takes 6 seconds, so they still have 32 on the clock. We talked about this at the top of the telecast. He's so dangerous. He can pass or throw. Everybody's covered. He sees a little of air, sees some open space. He goes, gets the first, move the chains, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
3 receivers and Fitzgerald's a tight end in. Ricky Williams the lone setback. here goes Williams on the delay. Pulls his way. Still on his feet and inside the 15 to the 14. And Texas will very quickly call a timeout. And how about Ricky Williams? The freshman out of San Diego. And
see, that extra yard or two all looks good to the fans and gets everybody excited. But once he stopped, he ought to get down. He stayed up an extra 4 seconds trying to drag these guys to get an extra yard and a half, 2 yards. Well, right now, every second counts.
You got a freshman who, maybe that's what's being talked about right now, but you got to love the enthusiasm of this young man.
Yeah,
San Diego, 6 feet, 215 pounds. First running back to start his first game here since Earl Campbell.
Never criticize a guy for effort.
That's right. 95 yards coming into this game on the year.
But still, he wasted 4 seconds.
Wayne McGarity now in along with Ricky Mitchell in the backfield for Texas. Second and 2 coming up at the 15. You've got 23 ticks of the clock remaining. McGarity and Williams split the backfield. Here comes Pitt on the blitz. He picks it up to Fitzgerald. Touchdown, Texas. Cash came on the corner blitz, and James Brown picked it up perfectly.
They pick up the blitz. Casper Owens, I think, gets lost here, the strong safety number 5, because the tight end Fitzgerald just kind of freed up. Casper Owens was late. That ball was well thrown. Good composure by James Brown.
And he moves him down the field, the extra point. Up, and it is good.
Talk about clock management.
And a big drive for Texas, too. They're down 10-7, perhaps heading to the locker room, and they drive down the field to score a touchdown to take the lead by 4 late in the first half here. With a 19-yard touchdown catch, 18 seconds remaining here in the first at Memorial Stadium, and Texas with a big touchdown drive.
Well, I'll tell you something. That time, it almost looked like the Texas offense. They were all curators of the clock. I mean, that drive went about 50 seconds, 58 seconds, something like that. Have 18 seconds to spare.
58-second drive. Look what Texas has done. 27 straight when they lead at halftime. And so the drive awfully important. 7 plays, 72 yards in just under a minute. And Dawson to kick off once again.
Call that Makovic magic. Johnny Mack went from option football to wide open attack. Now, after that NFL experience, he came here to Texas, put the two together.
He's had a pretty wide open attack here at Texas.
Sure does.
The last couple of years.
The only problem with it is they score so quickly.
Yeah, 18 seconds left for the Panthers here. Here's Mark Butler at his own 9. Trying to get outside, and Westbrook trips him up at the 28-yard line. Took 8 seconds off the clock, so Pitt will have 10 seconds with which to work.
You know, Terry, I don't think I would do anything with this 10 seconds. I think I'd just take a knee and get out of here, trailing by 4 at halftime, get my kids into the locker room where there is no air conditioning, by the way. Ice them down, get them some fluids, let them rest a little bit, get them off their feet.
Yeah, I think you're right. No use in making a mistake here. Inside your own 30 with 10 seconds left. Your team has played awfully well in the first half.
I'd bring everybody up tight, too, in case there's a bad exchange.
Schneider and Harris in the backfield in the eye. And it's Harris. And he's tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. May have lost one. Brian Bosick, the man who came in for Tony Brackens, who went out with a knee injury earlier in this quarter, making the stop. So we have played one half here in Austin, Texas, with the 14-10 lead. Don't forget, Prudential halftime report coming up. John Saunders will have scores and highlights. And also you'll hear from Nebraska head coach Tom Osborne a little bit later. First, though, we go down to the field with John Spagnola. Spags.
Thanks, Terry. I'm here with head coach John Makovic. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but your Texas offense has had the football for less than 9 minutes. Pitt's using some ball control, but there was quite a drive at the end to take the lead.
I knew the second quarter they just tried to pound it at us, maybe try to wear us out, but I think our offense came back and did what we wanted to do. We had a great 2-minute drive there. James Brown was really at his best.
What do you think you have to do going into the second half to get control of this football game?
Well, if we can turn the heat up out here, we're going to try it. But we have to play good, solid run defense still, make them go the long distance, and then offensively, we've had mistakes, and we just have to cut those down.
Great, John. Thanks a lot. They're going to turn that heat up in the locker room, Tim.
Well, Spags, they've got the advantage. No air conditioning in that Pitt locker room. 14-10. Texas leads it here at the half. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. As the number 15 rated team in the country, the Longhorns leading Pittsburgh 14-10. Pretty good first half, Tim Brandt.
I thought it was a marvelous first half, and I know that Johnny Majors has to be happy with the effort of his team. They dominated the time of possession. If you look down the bottom right under Pitt's numbers there, you'll see 21 minutes and 16 seconds. They had the football, and that's exactly what you want to do. Total yards is almost even, is exactly even, as a matter of fact. And if you keep the ball away from the opposing team when you're in their stadium, then you've got a pretty good shot at winning this thing. And he wants this to be close. He wants to shorten the game and have it close down the stretch. And so far, his club's done a pretty good job at that.
And stay away from mistakes as well. He had one key penalty go against him early on a 4th down in which they were going for it. And Texas penalized 4 times in the first half for 20 yards. A couple of key penalties for them as well. Mike Adams back deep to receive the second half kickoff. Texas won the coin toss before the game, but elected to defer to the second half, so they'll get it first here. Home opener for the Texas Longhorns. And Barton gets us underway with an onside kick, which,
oh, that was perfect.
He recovers.
That was perfect.
And what a way to open up the second half.
I'm telling you, Johnny Majors is a fox. Now, the guy's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing.
It just did go 10 yards. It went right at the 11-yard mark. Martin recovered the onside kick. Watch it.
Yeah, and it's unique, too. He's not kicking to one side. What he's doing is he's lunging at it, and he's going to get it himself. Just kind of dribble it out there. It's got to go 10 yards. Very wisely, he waited for it to cross the line and fell on it. Boy, that's a smart, good-looking, well-designed play. Johnny Majors is a fox.
Let's go down to John Spagnola for a moment. Spags. Oh, get the Spags after this first play here from scrimmage. First down at the 46 of Pitt. There's the reverse to Dietrich Jones. And a key block springs him a bit. A gain of about 6 on the play. Tony Orlandini threw a big block at the line of scrimmage. Number 46, Dusty Renfro, the inside linebacker, made the stop eventually.
Terry, as Texas lined up, Brackens is not in the ball game.
John Spagnola, what do you have?
Terry, I played that front line position on the kickoff return team, and if another team scouts that front line leading early, they'll take a shot at it. You got to give Pitt credit. They saw it, they scouted, and they took advantage of it, and they have a key possession here to start the second half.
Well, you talk about taking the wind out of the sails of Texas. I mean, you come out of the locker room, you set to receive, and now it goes against you. Here goes Chris Patton. Down the sideline, inside the 10 to the 5-yard line.
Talk about scouting reports. I think we got a bad one. Talking to the coaches, even Ken Karcher, the offensive coordinator this week, he says, hey, Chris Patton, he'll get what's there, but he's not a breakaway guy. Oh, Patton just exploded that time. He better tell the coaches he can break this thing away.
A gain of 42.
Watch this. They call him a banger. He's only 5'10", 210 pounds. But look at him. Once he gets outside, not only does he show some good speed, but he followed his blocking out there, and he picked up the big gain.
Anthony Hicks finally made the tackle, but not before the Panthers gained 42 and brought it to the 5-yard line. It looks like the right guard, Jeff Craig, down on the turf, and they're working on his left leg, and now he gets up. That's a good sign.
And this is a problem for Pitt. They made a point of telling us that they have an outstanding front five, including Jeff Craig, but there is absolutely not much depth there.
Now the backup to Craig, Jason Sapkowski, a sophomore. And some of the backups Not much playing time so far this year, and maybe some not quite ready yet. They lost a good one last year in Reuben Brown. So first and goal at the 5 on the opening drive for the Panthers. Gels in motion. Snyder off the left side, fights to the goal line and does not get in. He's stopped inside the 1. Dusty Renfro again makes the stop along with Chris Carter.
Well, you can't get this any closer to the goal line. I want you to watch him at the end of this run. Schneider reaches out, tries to get the ball across the plane. And I mean, they just barely did stop. You see it right there at the end? That is definitely legal. That's a signal from Ryan to start the motion. Everybody does it. Every quarterback does that. Now watch at the end of this. Watch him reach out. Look. Almost got it.
Snyder and Patton in the backfield inside the 1. Here comes Gels again in motion. Snyder off the left side into the end zone. Touchdown Pitt. So the onside kick to open up the second half. Johnny Majors dips into the bag of tricks.
How about Schneider? He had a touchdown last week too. 6'1", 240-pounder. He's only a redshirt freshman as well. Bodes well for the future. I mean, he just used some strength there. There's a guy that big. You would not think he'd play in a run and shoot, but in high school he was the run and shoot guy.
6'1", 240, and he says he's just learning how to block at this point, you know, because of the style in high school.
Run, explode, and blow somebody up. That's his philosophy.
So far, it's worked. Forensic in for the point after.
Oh, I think this crowd is stunned. What a start for Pitt.
No noise whatsoever. Pitt leads by 3.
Sounds like we're in the library. Tremendous emotional swing here. Watch, this is old-fashioned football. Straight ahead, no fair dodging. Here comes Snyder. Watch him banging up in there. 240 pounds. Keep going, drive the legs. Now watch the celebration. See, here's the thing. These guys know that they're in a football game. They're extremely confident. They're staying emotional. That onside kick could become the biggest play of the game.
Well, you talk about emotions, and I think Texas had momentum on their side going to the locker room. They had the 2-minute offense. They go in, they score the touchdown to go up 14-10. But, you know, Pitt comes out and boom, they have the onside kick. Certainly has deflated this crowd and maybe Texas as well.
I'll tell you this, Schneider scored the touchdown, but give credit to Hoslick, Morzak, Thomas, Craig, Orlandini. Those guys fired out and dominated the line of scrimmage.
4 plays, 54 yards, and just under 2 minutes off the clock. And again, it seemed like we're here, weren't we?
Watch the Texas front line this time. They won't run out of there and turn their backs on the kicker.
Adams and Mitchell back deep. They didn't get a chance to field the last one.
Matter of fact, somebody may go after the kicker this time.
Backs Mike Adams up, and this is out of the end zone. So they'll start at their own 20.
Kick going out of the end zone.
That's tomorrow night on ABC. Jeff Foxworthy, guest on the season premiere of America's Funniest Home Videos. All new videos starting tomorrow night. Then, does Lois say yes or no to Clark's marriage proposal? We'll see on the season premiere of Lois and Clark. And at 90210's Tiffany Amber Thiessen stars in the world premiere of The Stranger Beside Me. All new, all tomorrow night on ABC. And we've got a game here in Austin. 17-14, Pitt leads it. James Brown leads the way at his own 20-yard line. Play action. Out to his tight end as Bradley across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Steve Bradley with his first catch on the day. Number 46, David Sumner on the coverage and the tackle.
James Brown at his best. We talked about his mobility and how that causes problems for teams. He came out that time on the roll. And then as soon as there was a commitment by the linebacker, he just threw the ball.
Well, first down at the 33 now. Here's Sean Mitchell looking to get outside. Cuts it back to the 38. So good gains on first down. 2 plays in a row here. Sumner again in on the stop, along with Darryl Cash. And that'll bring up second and a long 5 at the 38. And there. Look at the ever-present clipboard and notes of John Makovic.
You know, John won't panic. He knows the explosiveness of this team. It scored 5 times in its first 6 possessions against Hawaii. But what he's found out is Pitt's not Hawaii. It's a better football team, much improved football team.
Brown to throw, going for Mike Adams, the coverage by Darrell Cash. He was step for step with Adams, and the crowd wanted a penalty. They thought he was a little too close.
Number 42, Darrell Cash.
Yeah, talking to the coaches from Pitt, too, they obviously were awfully concerned about Mike Adams and how they were going to cover him, and for the most part have done a pretty good job.
A term defensive backs like to use is getting his hip pocket. That's perfect coverage. There's some bumping and grinding going on, but Cash was right in position. He has as much right to that ball as anybody. He struggled as a strong safety. They moved him to corner when Mosley went out and injured that leg muscle. He's flourished there.
Yeah, a lot more comfortable at the corner. So a big 3rd down play, 3rd and 5. Brown to the air. He has Adams at midfield. Well, he picked up the 1st down from Brown to Adams. Strong safety Jim Williams on the coverage, but a gain of 13.
How about Adams? Here's a guy who comes back from injury. This guy's got a tough body, soft hands, great speed. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Johnny Lamb Jones. Remember? The UT All-American wide receiver in 78 and 79. That's the way this kid plays.
Well, last year the receiver Lavelle Pinckney here, and they had some injuries. 2nd string guys got a chance to play. Adams, of course, injured himself last year. 1st and 10 now at the 49 for Brown. McLemore, the intended receiver. Dorsett on the coverage. No chance to catch that one. Now, we talked about Anthony Dorsett earlier, and obviously all the references to his father, Tony, and the development that this youngster has gone through. So far today, Timmy, he's got an awfully good game.
He really has, and you know what's been impressive to me is he hasn't played that long. What do we say, 2 years at quarterback? But in the open field, the toughest thing for a cornerback to learn is how to close on the play, then break down and hit them high, so you alleviate. I mean, you take the jiggle out of the running back. You give him one way to run, and then you attack. He does that like he's been sitting on that corner forever.
2nd and 10. Williams wrapped up in the backfield, right at the 50-yard line. Tumulty on the coverage and the hit. Tom Tumulty, the all-everything linebacker for the Panthers. Let's go to John Spagnola.
Hey, Tom Tumulty just made the hit on that play. You know, he is from nearby Penn Hills High School, right near Pitt, and he decided to go there to school. He took a lot of heat for it because you can see as a freshman, the team went 5-0. Then it has proceeded to lose 30 of the next 40 games. Talk about faith. He's 2-0 here in his senior year, and he's hoping this team can get in the bowl. If they play like today, I think they'll get to a bowl game.
Up top goes Brown. Incomplete. Ryan White, the intended receiver.
See, and there goes the crowd again, wanted pass interference, but as far as I'm concerned, Jay Jones had great coverage.
Step for step with White, who can absolutely fly.
Watch this. All right, now he does have to look back for the ball, so he does that. It's a legal play. They're just running. His hands did come up one time, but still it came up while he was looking back, so there is no call. I mean, no flag there. Good no call.
So Schultz is in the punt. Mark Butler back deep at his own 15-yard line and calls for the fair catch. And they will start at the 15. Pitt up by 3. CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And the state capital, Austin, Texas. And the Longhorn fans hoping for a comeback here. They trail by 3 with 10:54 left in the 3rd quarter.
Jeff Craig, the right guard, back in for Pitt now. Appears to be fine.
Give to Harris on 1st down. Scampers up to the 19-yard line. Gain of about 3 on the play. Number 88, Jason Reeves, in on the stop. Reeves injured last year. He had a knee injury where his kneecap actually ended up halfway up his thigh. He said it was one of those injuries that he knew right away that was the end to his year.
You know, that position he plays too is a critical linebacker spot. He has to play coverage a lot. He's got to be able to run pretty well. Very smart guy, very good student, math major.
Being a 4 by Harris on that play. 2nd and 6. Here he goes again, trying to get outside.
And look who stops him. Reeves.
Not going to happen. Jason Reeves ran him down. And while we have a moment, let's go down to the field. John Spagnola, how are you?
Pretty good, but Tony Brackens is not doing very well, Terry. He's out definitely for today. He's going to have an x-ray taken of his knee on Monday. It may be more serious than just being out today. Let's hope it's not more serious than that, but Tony Brackens will not return to action today for the Longhorns.
All right, Spags, Brian Bosick in there playing his spot, but that is a key loss today and potentially down the rest of the schedule for the Longhorns.
Orlandini down now, big number 78. Boy, yeah, you hope that thing is not serious for Brackens, because he has such a great future. I mean, they talk about him like he's been described as Bruce Smith disguised as a defensive end for the Longhorns. That's how good he is.
Whether that's true or not, even to be able to mention that means he's pretty darn good.
I know the scouts like him a lot. Here's another big guy, Tony Orlandini. 6'5", 280-pound sophomore.
And there is Brian Bosick, the man in right now for Tony Brackens. So we will take a break while there's a break on the field and be back after this. The numbers on the day so far very similar. James Brown, John Ryan, 9 for 17, 9 for 19, and the yardage very close as well. And Ryan trying to lead the Panthers on 3rd and 3. Here's Harris over the left side, fighting to get near the first down. I don't think he got there, though.
No, that's a good stop and great fill by Chris Carter, the free safety. He always comes up with a couple of big plays, and I mean that time number 16 just attacked.
Carter, a junior out of Tyler, Texas, and for the first time in this second half, we can hear the crowd a little bit. That onside kick and the drive for the TD took a lot of life out of it.
Well, they're going to get great field position, too, and the ball will be in the hands of the always dangerous Adams.
Adams backed up. What a punt. Drives him all the way back to his own 10-yard line. Looking for room and can't get any further than the 15-yard line. A 68-yard punt by Nate Cochran. Just a year ago, these two teams battled in the opening game of the year. And what a game it was. Trailing by 8 with time running out in the 4th quarter. Sean Fitzgerald. It's Mark Butler with a 16-yard touchdown pass to pull to within 2. But Pitt went for the 2-point conversion and the tie and came up short. Texas with a 30-28 win.
Terry, I said Texas was going to get great field position here. That punt was 68 yards by Cochran. 68 yards, and then they had great coverage and took Adams out of bounds in no time after a return of 5.
So 1st and 10 at the 15. Adams in motion. That's where Brown wants to go, but he underthrew him. Cash on the coverage along with John McCray, the inside linebacker. Let's go to John Spagnola.
Hey, Tim, you mentioned Nate Cochran and that 68-yard punt. You know, he worked out with Ray Guy in the offseason. Johnny Majors was upset with the way he punted in the latter part of last season. He really worked hard at it, and when you can help your team out with a 68-yarder, you're doing a lot for your football team.
Boy, isn't that the truth? He took great field position away from Texas, now has them backed up.
Brown now 9 for 20, 134 yards. And here's Williams trying to get outside. And a nice gain, about 2 yards shy of a first down. Jim Williams knocked him out of bounds.
You know, we talked about how Texas will move Brackens around. Now Brackens is out of the game. But Pitt is doing that with Tom Tumulty. They'll play him at linebacker. That time they had him down in a 3-point stance like a defensive lineman, almost playing defensive tackle.
Mitchell now in with Williams in the backfield. And McGarity in there as well. Mitchell's back. Ryan being chased. And chased out of bounds at the 26-yard line. He got there. Well, Brown turns the corner and gets the first down. John Jenkins came after him on the safety blitz, but he couldn't catch him.
How many times can you say the reason he's so dangerous is because of his speed and quickness? He also has a sixth sense. He can feel the blitz, read the blitz, got to the corner. use that quickness to get the first. Oh, what a great player in this scheme.
Yep. Can do a lot of things. Only his second year at quarterback, too. A sophomore at Beaumont, Texas. Here's the pitch to Mitchell, and he can't turn the corner. Gains maybe a yard. That's about it. Jenkins ran him out of bounds along with McCray. But you talk about James Brown, Tim. And, you know, last year Shea Morenz was the quarterback. I mean, he was running the show, and James Brown came on and gave them some different dimensions as quarterback. You know, Morenz sometimes would look long first, wouldn't look at his reads underneath. James Brown's been very patient, especially for a young quarterback on his reads.
You know, a couple plays in a row, too. We haven't seen the linebacker Tumulty in the game. He's out. James Brown feel a little more comfortable.
2nd and 8 and pass behind the intended receiver Davis. Cash on the coverage, and once again some contact, but no flag.
Well, that ball wasn't catchable though, so you don't throw a flag there.
That was well behind Matt Davis. Brown 5-0 as a starter, and there's a look at Tom Tumulty.
Tumulty comes back into the ball game, and that'll make a difference. Now he's going to be back at middle linebacker. It's a passing situation for Texas.
That's Gerald in motion. And they give it to Williams, who bounces outside and may have a first down at the 37-yard line. David Sumner, number 46, stopped him, but they will move the chains. He had enough.
What a great call that was on a passing down, 3rd down and 8. Everybody loads up for the pass, or drops back rather, and they just go ahead and run it. You talk about breaking predictability. I mean, there's a call right there that I think surprised everybody.
And Williams with the speed to bounce outside and get to the first down mark. McLemore now in wide to the near side along with Adams, and time is taken on the field. Pitt has called timeout.
Boy, what a huge play. Surprising play. 3rd down and 8.
Well, you know, we talked to John Mackovic, too, and we mentioned earlier, obviously, his NFL experience, but he was talking about how different the two are, college football and NFL football. He really feels that they've learned from each other in terms of the passing game on the college level, and maybe the NFL team's learning more of the exciting running game in the colleges.
What's fun about John Mackovic is he is still a student of the game beyond all others. I mean, he sits and he just watches tape constantly looking for new plays. He said he was watching NFL films the other day, and they had the quarterback mic'd, and he heard him call a play. He says, I know what that is. Got out of bed, went and started drawing what he could do with his team to put that play in his scheme.
Yeah, he says his assistant coaches think he's absolutely nuts because he comes up with plays at all times of the day. A lot of action in college football today. Good one going on here as Pitt leads 17-14, but elsewhere, Florida State 77 points against NC State.
All right, you know that letter that Bobby Bowden sent to Goldsmith. I think what he ought to do is just Xerox it, and every week just send it out.
So this week it's Michael Caine at NC State.
Yeah, send it out. 77 points. Sorry, Mike.
Let's go right down the line. You see UCLA losing to Oregon at this point. Alabama defeated by a point.
Controversial play, too. Did it hit the ground, the touchdown pass? Looked like it skipped. They gave him the touchdown and lose by, as you say, a point.
And Notre Dame winning big, and Miami of Ohio with the upset at Northwestern today.
Not much of a test for Notre Dame, but still it's good to see Bob Davies step in with Lou Holtz out and get the win.
Pass intended for Mike Adams, and he was open, and that was not a good pass by James Brown that time. McCray on the coverage. And a look at Trey Thomas being worked on the sidelines. Well, we mentioned earlier it is hot, it's humid down on the field. John Spagnola's had to deal with that all day long as well, and now you got the fans on the sidelines.
You've got to do that to John after the game.
Yeah, bad chance. 2nd and 10 at the 37. Down to throw again. Pumps, runs, up top. Wallace broken up, and now there's a flag. Jay Jones on the coverage, backup cornerback, and we'll see what they're going to call. Jones is clapping.
That pass complete to number 9, Quentin Wallace, right on the play.
Again, it's the 5 5 and 15 rule no longer is there pass interference marked at the spot. They move it back, 15-yard penalty.
Pass interference on the defense.
Well, you knew it was pass interference, but I hesitated for a moment. It looked like Jones was clapping as if it was going against Wallace.
15 yards, first down. Let's watch the end of this. First of all, again, the mobility of Brown under pressure. See, there's the contact. Now he knocks it away. The end of it's a good play, but it was the right hand contact that caused the flag.
I'll tell you, that's something that's going on all day long, though. The hands. It's the first time we've seen it called. So first down at the 47 of Pittsburgh. The long count. This time to Williams. Tumulty knocks him out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Outstanding lateral movement that time by Tumulty to get there.
And there is Tony Brackens. Went down in the first half with that knee injury, and all of the Longhorn fans will hold their breath, hoping that it is not serious.
Yeah, with a talent like that, they'll get an MRI and they'll look at every aspect of that knee to see if, in fact, there is any damage, and if there is, how severe it is.
On the throw on 2nd and 8. He's got Mike Adams at the 39. Jim Williams made the stop there.
Pitt came with a safety blitz. They've been running a blitz control type defense. They had good coverage, and I don't believe he made the first. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Well, they came with the safety blitz. They were coming in a hurry. Still, James Brown gets rid of it pretty quickly.
He's run away from the blitz and picked it up all day long. In fact, the touchdown pass to Fitzgerald at the end of the first half on a blitz.
Texas had Peter Gardere, Shea Moranz, and now James Brown.
They've got 3rd and 1, and there goes Mitchell to the outside. He gets there at the first down and ahead to the 32-yard line. Pat Culpepper finally ran him out of bounds. The right cornerback. So Texas moves the chains once again, and they get just about the 33-yard line. 6:05 left in this third. A couple of long drives in this ball game. Pitt had one of over 10.5 minutes in the first, and now Texas doing the same thing here. 11th play of the drive, and you look at Demetrius Harris, Ricky Williams, and their numbers on the day.
Harris came in averaging 11 yards per carry. He's under 3 today. That's the job they've done on him defensively.
Under pressure, Brown to Adams. He's got him. Touchdown. James Brown, 33 yards to Mike Adams, his favorite receiver, and he beat Darrell Cash on the post.
Had one-on-one with Cash, got the inside, but I'll tell you, I think there should be a flag. One of the new rules is you're not supposed to take your helmet off or draw attention to yourself. He took his helmet off almost immediately. That's a rule I don't like. John Makovic does, and he almost got tagged that time.
I happen to like it. It just takes a lot of common sense to call it or don't call it. Toss it up with a point after, and it is good.
I mean, he was not doing any harm, but they're trying to take away any kind of attention that you bring to yourself. They think by taking your hat off in the end zone does that. Watch this. This is not only a fine read, but an excellent throw by James Brown. Gets good protection, steps up. Adams never even breaks stride here. Hits it in full stride. Cash was beaten by 2 steps inside. Boy, if you're going to play soft in man coverage, you're in trouble against Adams. Look at the protection, number 1. Number 2, look at the throw, and Cash let him win the battle inside. You cannot do that with somebody with the speed of Mike Adams. Cash knows it too. Rule number 1, if you're going to get man coverage on a speed guy, if you're going to play soft, then you better close on him as soon as he makes his break.
That's tough duty, though, trying to go one-on-one with Mike Adams with his speed. 4 catches and 70 yards. Now a touchdown on the day. For the Longhorns, 7 more on the board. And it is 21-17 as Bevo. Boy, he's excited, isn't he? Well, the onside kick to open up the second half for Johnny Majors, and Pitt recovered that and obviously drove down the field to score first, but Texas has come right back here. Mark Butler back deep for the Panthers.
You know, you hate to jump on a guy for taking his hat off and running off the field excited after he catches a touchdown. I think that's very natural. I just think it's interesting the way things are being called. We saw it last week called against Clemson. Yeah. And I mean, that was very natural and harmless. Here, there was no call.
I don't happen to like guys taking their helmet off, but you have to have some common sense on the calls. Last week, it was a quick whistle. You're right.
Number 21, Jay Jones.
Ahead to the 31-yard line. That was Jay Jones bringing it back. And
He is brought down by number 34.
They'll start at their own 31.
Let's go back to this new rule that they're talking about. You know, don't draw attention to yourself. You got to keep your helmet on unless you're in the team area. Yeah, right away, he just takes his helmet off. I think this is harmless. You know, it's a good no call. And yet, some guys will throw the flag on that, others won't. He's not celebrating. He's not drawing attention to himself. Just took his hat off.
Well, and he wasn't drawing any attention to himself that time. Down to John Spagnola.
Guys, I was right in front of Mike Adams as he ran to the bench, and I was a little shocked, too, because he clearly took his helmet off on the football field, and that's a no-no, but the referees did not call on it because he was headed right to the bench. Back upstairs to you.
All right, Spags. Ryan on the rollout through the hands of Del Seagrave.
It's going to be interesting to see when, in fact, they do call that this year.
Coverage by Jason Reeves. You know, Tim, I haven't seen it that much in terms of players taking their helmets off. I mean, they've gotten the message that it is a no-no.
I saw him take it off immediately. I saw him as soon as he stood up. He went to the chin straps, and I was looking for the flag. That's why I brought attention to it immediately.
So you don't like the rule altogether?
No, I really don't. I think it's a game that should be celebrated. My own teammates called me a hot dog. I used to love to get up. Attention, it was a big, mean little team.
Not the most penalized man in the history of the ACC.
Absolutely.
Over the middle, Curtis Anderson with a catch at the 45 and up to the 47-yard line. Jason Reeves finally made the stop with a big play to Curtis Anderson. And now there is a flag on the field. And we'll sort it out.
This, I believe, is going to be against Texas. A little extra at the end of the play.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense.
Yes, sir. It's against Texas. Late hit right there at the end. They stood up Curtis Anderson. Couldn't get him down, so somebody took a late shot at him.
Hey, we're playing tough back there. We're playing tight. It just a couple times.
Watch Curtis Anderson now, number 23. He'll just kind of drag, find the open area. They throw it over the linebacker, under the safety. Makes the catch. Now watch this. They stand him up. Now here comes. Boom. Calling on the guy that's still in the air.
Yeah.
The guy that's still in the air right there was the pin last play.
So it's 1st and 10, but now it's at the 38 of Texas. And there was contact. Shane Rink came across. And Hoslick may have moved, actually, the left tackle for Pitt on the offensive line.
Get hit up. We're just not executing, all right? Let's go. That's right.
Dead ball foul, contact by the defense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You know, Texas is making this an easy drive for Pitt. Last 2 penalties, they're just moving it down against themselves. That's 20 yards in 2 plays.
It's a big play to Curtis Anderson, but then they tack on the yardage there and another one here.
15 and 5, 20 plays. Pitt hadn't had to snap it. Or 20 yards, rather.
So 1st and 5 now as Ryan looks over the middle, complete to Jackson down to the 21-yard line. That's Keith Jackson, a redshirt freshman out of Baton Rouge, and we'll see what's happening elsewhere as we go to New York and check in with John Saunders. All right, John, Florida takes the lead, and of course Tennessee next week taking on Mississippi State right here on ABC. So a good one going on in the swamp. Anderson, the catch. For about 8 yards. They're on 1st down. And speaking of next week, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, there's the lineup. 10th ranked Ohio State taking on the Pittsburgh Panthers. And the number 3 Texas A&M battles Colorado. That should be a good one. Other regional action as well, including that Mississippi State and Tennessee game. Check your local listings for the game in your area and call your local cable operator for the games available on pay-per-view. 2nd and 5. Harris now in the backfield. Play action. An incomplete. Dietrich Gels, the intended receiver, as Ryan was flushed out of the pocket, and Reed may have gotten a piece of it. There's Robert Reed, the outside linebacker out of Converse, Texas.
Took over that outside linebacker spot when Anthony Curl left. Done a very nice job there. You know, Makovic's first couple of years at Texas, they called them the Texas Longhorns. Now they're growing up and playing pretty well, but they're up against it right here.
So UCLA making a little comeback bid against Oregon there. 3rd and 5 at the 15. Up top for Gerald. Out of the end zone. Covered by Bryant Westbrook. And Westbrook being challenged throughout the day.
So it'll bring up 4th down and a long 5, which will give a field goal situation for the Panthers. Tell you what kind of game this is. 21-17. Texas has averaged 49 points over the last 3 games of 94. They came in and scored 38 points against Hawaii. And here they're being held to 21.
A 32-yard attempt for Chris Forensic. And long, a 41-yarder on the year. And it is good. So Forensic 3 on the board. And Pitt pulls to within 1 with 4:15 left here in the 3rd quarter.
Boy, he banged that thing through hard. That could have been good for 50. See, that's the active Bevo. Then you've got the inactive Bevo down here in the end zone. Here's the inactive Bevo.
I think I'd be the inactive one today. It's about 115 down on that AstroTurf.
I'll tell you what, that's a fine looking animal. And one of the all-time great mascots in all of college football. 2 of my favorites have to be Bevo and Ralphie. The Buffalo from Colorado.
Well, John Spagnuolo is working on that one-on-one interview with Bevo a little bit later in this one.
I don't think John wants to get too close. The ground around him has been a little soiled.
We're going to Spags right now. Where is he, John?
I am not near Bevo. I'm not getting near Bevo. It's over 100 degrees there. If it gets any hotter on this turf, Bevo will be getting barbecued over there at the end of the end zone.
I'm sure Bevo's pretty ripe right now.
I'm going to stay near Big Bertha. Nice shadow right there.
Yeah. No guts, no glory, John.
Yeah, that's the story of my career, Jack. Thanks.
Memorial Stadium here in Austin, Texas. Built what, in 1926. Certainly added on to it since then, but a great place to watch a college football game. And there is Big Bertha. John Spagnuolo hiding behind it. 21-20. The Longhorns with the lead. Mitchell and Adams back deep for the Longhorns. And Todd Barton with that onside kick to open up the second half to kick it away. And he's boomed some good ones. Out of the end zone once again, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. 2-story pass for these 2 programs. Texas, of course, but Pitt as well, and some great names like Mike Ditka. How about that face? How'd you like to take him on one-on-one?
You talk about a throwback, a hard-nosed guy. This guy could play. He also could run. Watch this. Great balance.
He's looking for people to hit.
Yeah, see, Ditka, everybody thinks he was the real tough guy. He also was awfully agile.
Defensively, too. Well, a lot of people thought that he should have played both ways in the NFL, or at least given maybe defense a try. He was more tenacious defensively.
See, there's a guy that had bad intentions when he played.
One of the all-time greats at Pitt. Brown to throw on first down. Now runs out of time in real estate, down at the 18-yard line. Roderick Humphrey and David Sumner, a pair of linebackers, stopped him there. He had a lot of time initially.
Roderick Humphrey,
James last year completed almost 70% of his passes. And let's go down to Spags again, John.
Well, guys, the heat has taken its toll on more than Bevo and me. Anthony Dorsett is out with leg cramps. I see him walking around on the track, but Thad Culpepper is taking his place right now, number 24. And Dorsett had IVs taken not too long ago, so he's trying to work out his cramps right now.
Okay. Culpepper, a senior out of Pasadena. Also 2 on that last play, and maybe too much time now.
No, not too much time. Still had some time left on the clock. I think there was some motion down there. They wanted to stop this thing before it started.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure, movement prior to the snap on the offense. Remains second down.
Boy, the Longhorns are killing themselves with penalties.
There's a look at Anthony Dorsett on the sideline. In some water and get a little rest.
Certainly the heat is a factor today, no question about that. There's a look at Culpepper, who took his place. But the defense still flying around, getting after it.
Shadows beginning to creep over Memorial Stadium field here. And now 2nd and 17 for Brown. The quick out to Williams, trying to get outside. He won't get there. Miles Davis wrapped him up. Davis, a junior out of Pittsburgh. Had a broken foot last year, missed about 5 games, but now is a backup to David Sumner.
Terry was just talking about how the Pitt defense is still flying around. Now, that could be a cliche. Obviously, all the defensive coaches talking about flying to the football. There is a great indication of what's taking place. They get it out to the flat, and here comes Miles Davis, the linebacker. I mean, he never broke stride. He broke on the ball immediately and made a nice play. Now look at this. It's 3rd down and almost 15.
And by the way, Anthony Dorsett back in the secondary for Pitt. Brown to throw, and this one's tipped.
Picked off.
Picked off. Hallepin with the pickoff. And inside the 15 to the 14, Mike Hallepin intercepts the tip pass.
What a tremendous defensive series for Johnny Major's defense, and he knows it. He wants to get over and congratulate everyone.
And it may have been Zatiti Moody, the defensive end out of Patterson, New Jersey. You got a hand on it. See if we can pick it up.
It's not a new problem. James Brown has had this problem all day. This is the 5th tip. There it is.
And it was Moody who got a piece of it.
Yeah, but look at this. Hallepin, very alert. This guy's 6'5", 270. Saw the tip. They yelled ball, ball, ball. He reacted and picked it off. The NFL loves this guy. 6'5", 270. Huge turnover in great position for Pitt.
What a great break. And here goes Harris straight up the middle, ahead for maybe 2. Down to the 10-yard line.
They've got to get Harris over here to the wide side. Just let him run to that pylon. Let him run to the corner of the field.
Jermaine Brown on the stop, but you're right. He can turn the corner in a hurry.
Give him a little escort. You can even tell Texas, say, here he comes. We're going to put Harris on the corner. Try to stop him. Try to catch him if you can.
Picked up 3 on 1st down, so it's 2nd and about 7 at the 10.
Got to use his wide side of the field. Here he comes.
And there he goes at the 8-yard line. May have picked up 2. That's about it. He couldn't get to the sideline.
So much for that. We were thinking on the same wavelength. He's a little bit shaken up. We said, hey, go to the wide side, run to the pylon, let him get the corner. Texas covered it well.
And he is down right now. He was shaken up on that. Robert Crenshaw, backup strong safety, made the hit. Take
Terry,
a look.
watch the end of this. It looks like it's helmet to helmet. Watch this. Matter of fact, let's just listen. That's helmet to helmet. That's dangerous.
That's who that was, too. Robert Crenshaw, Jr. out of Austin.
You know, on the back of every single one of those helmets, it says, do not use this helmet as a weapon because it is dangerous. So what do guys call it? They call it a war bonnet. Watch this. Head to head. Boom. I mean, that'll rattle your fillings and put your eyeballs in your forehead.
Got a few of those, haven't you? Not that we're seeing the effects at all.
My fillings are still loose and my eyeballs are still high.
Well, there goes Harris off the field, so that's a good sign. Shaken up on the play, but a pat on the back from Billy West.
Equipment today is so good. Protects players so well. Although I was at a high school practice the other day, saw this kid put a lick on a guy and his face mask just completely bent.
Here comes the crowd on 3rd and 4 at the 7. 3 receivers to the far side and 2 to the near.
Picked
off and dropped. Carter picked it off. And it's Texas ball. Wes Carter with the interception. And if he doesn't drop that football, he's got open field ahead of him.
His place is rocking. I'm going to tell you, this is a gift. I don't know what Ryan's thinking, but watch. He just kind of lobs it out here. Boom, here comes Carter. See ya. But he's already reading the headlines, takes his eye off the ball and drops it. There was absolutely not a soul in front of him.
Nothing but green ahead of him.
I can't understand Ryan. To watch, it's almost like he pushes it instead of throws it. It just kind of floats out there with the nose down. Carter read it, broke on it. I don't know how he dropped it. He had possession, took 2 steps, and then dropped it.
A little bit under pressure. Reeves was in the backfield, but an ill-advised pass. On 1st down, Mitchell straight ahead for a couple of yards.
He is stopped by number 67,
John McCray.
John McCray.
Linebacker out of Akron, Ohio on the stop.
It's all right, though. If you're Pitt, you got to maintain your composure. You know that you've kept the ball away from Texas. You're forced to turnover. Now you give it back. The defense back on the field, and they've been on there for a long time here in this half. This has been a long 3rd quarter. 34 seconds left. Seems like it's lasted a day and a half.
There goes Ricky Williams looking for room. He has some. Near a 1st down, he may have it at the 34-yard line. Tumulty and John Jenkins there to stop it. And time running out. Stopped right now at 18 seconds.
Stop the clock, move the chains, and start it again, down to 12 seconds. That should be the last play of this quarter, Terry.
And it ends on a stop from Tumulty, but a 1st down from Texas.
Texas takes a timeout. No, they don't. Now they start the clock again. They started it, then stopped it, and that'll end the quarter.
So it's 21-20. Texas with the lead here in Austin, and we're back with more between the Panthers and the Longhorns after this message and a word from our ABC station.
It's becoming a story in this ball game. Both clubs was 2 each. Watch this. This happened within just a couple of minutes of each other. James Brown drops back. Moody gets a hand on it. Boom. Here comes the pickoff. Hallepin gets it. Pitt has the ball down deep in Texas territory. But as soon as they get down there, now watch this. John Ryan comes on for Pitt. He drops back and just kind of pushes one out here. Shot puts it. Boom. Carter comes over, picks it off. He says, nah, I'm not going to score. Put it on the ground. Texas has the ball.
Certainly a big pickoff by Carter, but he had nothing but green turf ahead of him and dropped that football. John Spagnola.
To add into what Tim said, that ball was thrown late. That ball's got to be out right away by John Ryan, or he's got to throw it away. A big mistake at a crucial time in a football game. Terry?
Here comes Mitchell on 1st down, sidestepping a couple of tacklers, and gets out maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Tumulty was there to trip him up. So it's 21-20 Texas, and a look at how we got here with first 3-quarter stats. 307 yards total offense for Texas, and just under that 296 for Pitt. Turnovers even, but look at the time of possession, almost 30 minutes for Pitt.
You know, Terry, the heat is definitely becoming a factor too. Mike Mooring is down for Pitt, and it looks like he's got leg cramps the way they're stretching that leg and massaging the calf.
Now the same thing was true of Anthony Dorsett, and he came back in on the last series. But there's no question the heat will take its toll today.
Cool zone. That's pretty interesting invention. That's something we should have thought about. Throws out a little spritzer, a little mist, blows it on the players, keeps them cool.
You're not looking at a creator here. Inventor. No shot. Mike Adams being worked on as well, and Mooring now up and trotting off the field. But earlier today it was about 115, 116 down on the turf. Johnny Majors now sporting the cap.
Still very hot. Even though there's a stiff breeze, it's a real hot breeze.
Yeah. So second down and 11. Williams and Mitchell split the backfield now for Texas. Looks like Pitt may be coming. And they do. And we've got flags all over the place.
Flag on the play or before the play.
And we've seen a lot of those today.
This will be against Texas, too. I think they got antsy when they saw everybody load up.
Dead ball foul. Ball start on the offense. Remain second down.
Illegal procedure really.
Penalty number 8 against Texas. There was no question Pitt was showing their hand, coming up, loading up for the blitz. Guys got a little antsy.
Number 1 and number 2 both scoring 77 points today. And Florida now up by 11 over the Vols down in the swamp. Here comes Mitchell. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Maurice Harris met him first. All these youngsters getting a lot of work early. We got Sean Mitchell, first-year player, junior college transfer. Ricky Williams, a freshman out of San Diego. You got Wayne McGarity. Mitchell's back up, only a redshirt freshman. A lot of youth back there.
No, there really is. And Williams and Mitchell, that's a pretty good combo. Williams has turned out to be an outstanding blocker. He's 6 feet, 215 pounds. And I mean, he's tattooing some guys when they come in.
Pretty good one out west, Oregon and UCLA. 3rd and 12, there goes Brown. And it looked like Davis would have it. They completed anyway. Matt Davis down to the 19-yard line. Darrell Cash on the coverage and the stop. And Cash had a piece of it before he caught the ball anyway.
This is one of those deals when you go back and look at the films, you will not believe what took place. There's a flag against Texas, but you won't believe how close this was to being a sack. Great play by James Brown.
Looks like Dominic Bustamante, the right tackle.
And pass interference on the defense.
That's offsetting.
First down.
Watch this. They came with a blitz, so it's man to coverage. But watch, I want you to see Maurice Harris, number 90. He hits James Brown just as he releases this ball. This was almost a sack. Boom. There's that. Then at the other end, you've got man coverage, and the ball is just perfectly thrown. You cannot get it any better than that. Offsetting penalties. Play stands. First down. Here comes old big Bustamante. 300-pounder, 6'5". He's up.
You know, James Brown has been right on target on the deep passes today. He had the long pass to Adams for the touchdown, and now he goes to Matt Davis.
And he was under a lot of pressure, too.
And let's go down to John Spagnola on the sideline.
Hi, Terry. Terry, those penalties were not offsetting. They were both against Pitt. It was defensive holding and pass interference. Therefore, they're not offsetting, and that's why Texas has the ball where they do, right here inside the 20. Back upstairs to you.
There's no question Cash had a piece of Davis as he ran his route. So it's first down at the 19. There goes Williams turning the corner. Still on his feet, although he's out of bounds at the 16. Tumulty knocked him out, but he's a tough man to bring down.
Spags, that's interesting because when the officials conferred, when the flags were down and trying to straighten things out, the Pitt players were there listening in and started pointing at Texas and moving back. So they must have heard something that indicated Texas did something to foul.
Yeah, they heard holding, but they didn't figure out quite who it was against him. And the ref did point both times to Pitt. So they're not offsetting penalties. They just get possession of the football after the completion to Matt Davis.
A gain of 1 on that play. It's second and at 6. About 4 actually. Brown looking up top to the end zone and through the hands of Brian White. John Jenkins, the free safety, was on the coverage, but White had a chance to catch that in.
Pitt brought a backside blitz this time again with Moody. 48 guy, they picked him up, and look at all the time James Brown has. This ball was well thrown. Just a little bit too far. Almost looked catchable.
So it brings up 3rd and 6. penalty with a big play on 3rd down.
Well, that's a big play. Texas may miss an opportunity here. It looked like they were going to get a touchdown, and now here it up brings up 4th down and 10. Watch the end of this play. This looks like it's catchable, but keep in mind the receivers are looking back in the sun. Now watch White as he looks back. He's looking right into the sun. Now the ball looks like it could be caught inside the end line. Well, that's awfully close.
No question he had room. You're right. 35-yard field goal attempt now for Dawson. It's down. Up. And good. So a 35-yard field goal for Phil Dawson. And Texas extends their lead to 4 with 12:06 left. If time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. A lot of football left here, though. 4-point game. Texas with a 24-20 lead. 12:06 left. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, and John Spagnola roaming the sidelines, and it's nice and cool up here.
I don't know about that. It's pretty hot up here to me, but referee's even dehydrated. He's going to the cool zone. So you know what they're talking about. They're talking about putting a striped shirt on Spags and letting him go out.
Oh. Worst move they could ever make, huh, Spags?
Trains in shirts yet, John?
Guys, this referee, Terry Monk, he's a little bit dehydrated, taking some water here on the sideline, and we're going to be working without a referee right now. Pretty hot for everybody on this football field, and you can see the heat taking its toll. On another note, the field judge today, Jerry McGee, had to step out of today's game. His mother passed away last night, and we want to send along our condolences along with the refereeing crew here to Jerry McGee and his family.
Yeah,
Back
you're
upstairs
right.
to you, Terry.
You're right, John. You're certainly right. Charlie Showalter, we want to thank him for coming in and taking Jerry's place.
Yeah, we joke about Spags having to deal with the heat on the sideline. That's certainly, yeah, it is a serious matter, and a lot of precautions being taken on the sidelines on both sides of the field.
And we're seeing a lot of guys go down now, Terry, with the cramps in their legs, the calves. And they're trying to keep the fluids on them, trying to also keep the fluids in them.
There's a T.D. Moody, defensive end, who tipped that pass a few moments ago that led to an interception. He was down a minute ago, and he's fine. He walked off the field, but a lot of players laying on this turf today because of this heat. Texas players trying to get the crowd back into it here. Butler back, awaiting Phil Dawson's kick. It sends Butler 8 yards deep, and he goes to one knee to bring it out. And don't forget Monday nights. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football heads south. The big AFC matchup, the Steelers 2-0 on the year. The unbeaten Dolphins, Dan Marino. That's all Monday night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You're on ABC Sports.
You know, John was saying we're going to go out without a referee now because Terry Monk has the heat exhaustion. That's not really the case. They'll change hats, put that white hat on another official, probably Ron Klages. And Ron Klages will stay at umpire. It looks like Briston Martin, the head linesman, will move back as the referee. So they'll go with 6 now. But you've got to have a referee and an umpire.
Snyder and Patton in the backfield, but Ryan to throw over the middle. He's got his tight end at the 35-yard line, Del Seagrave. So a first down. And they move the chains. They'll start at the 35.
Problem is you lose the referee's mic. See, Terry keeps that with him.
Gonna have to read those signs, Tim. This Seagrave's over the middle. Nice hands by the big man.
Coaches say he is as good as they get at tight end.
There goes Patton looking to get outside. He does. Nice run to the 41-yard line. Almost wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Chris Carter, number 16, finally made the stop. And John Spagnola's got more news down there. He's busy.
Actually, the referee on the field right now is R.G. Detillier, who's the side judge. He's going to be taking over for Terry Monk as the referee. So there's a little shuffling going on with the players here today and with the referees on the field, Tim and Terry.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, Spags. You've got the guy wearing the white hat. You've got to have him on the field. Somebody's got to be in charge of the crew. got that referee and the umpire. You can cheat other places. I mean, you know, go without one. 6 is okay.
There goes Patton again off the right side. Looks like he has a first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And he's had a good day. 12 carries for 85 yards on the afternoon. Tyson King with the tackle. You look at this Texas defense. We mentioned earlier spending a lot of time on the field. Spent a lot of time in the first half. But the heat at some point wears you out.
This has been a long game, too. We still have just under 11 minutes to play. We've already played about 3 hours.
In the heat, you know, 80s, 90s. Ryan, picked off by Trey Thomas at the 44-yard line.
That ball had to be tipped. I mean, it was a floater. Look at this thing. It's just hanging in the air. Thomas breaks on it. It's still slow coming. Tips it and gets it himself. Another turnover. That's 3 against Pitt. But this thing had to be tipped. Let's see if we can catch it. There it is.
Yeah, it's
tipped. Look at that ball. It's just a dead duck floating out there.
Look like Chris Akins may have gotten a piece of it.
Boy, that's free pickings for Trey Thomas.
Numbers on Ryan. 3 interceptions. That's the key right there.
You know, John Ryan looks a little bit like Cal Ripken.
Texas takes over at the 43. Here comes Mitchell. There goes the ball. Pitt thinks they have it. It looks at first glance like they did get it.
I don't know. I thought it bounced up where Texas got it back. Took a crazy bounce right at the end. Like Mitchell may have come up with it.
Mitchell recovered his own fumble.
What a missed opportunity for Pitt. That thing hit the AstroTurf. And watch at the end, it'll bounce so high. He gets it back himself. There it's loose, goes up high. Now Mitchell looks like he's floundering, trying to get it back, still loose. Here comes Pitt, boom, ball's on the ground, and all of a sudden somebody squirts it up.
How did he get it back?
Like a bar of soap. Well, it popped out of there at the end. Watch the end of this play. All right, it's loose. He tries to get it back. Now it's on the ground. Now watch this thing bounce up. Whoop. Here it comes, and here comes Mitchell.
That's amazing. It's 2nd and 3 now.
It's like a bar of soap.
After all that, a gain of 7. And it's all picked off. Jenkins on the interception. So they're giving it back and forth. And there is a flag on the play. So we'll hold our breath.
Johnny Majors is out on the field trying to get the officials' attention, saying, hey, what is it?
Yeah, the flag is right in front of Majors. So it'll stand. It goes against Texas, and Johnny very happy at this point.
Do you believe it? The penalties and turnovers,
they come in bunches, don't they?
Well, they really do, and these are from 2 teams that really have, before this game, not made a whole lot of mistakes, but this is unbelievable. James Brown threw it without even reading it, looked like. Jenkins broke on it well.
His 2nd interception of the year. So 9:46 left, and now Pitt with the big break, and inside the 25. Snyder and Harris, the backfield. In the eye. There goes Demetrius Harris, busted through. Still on his feet, down inside to about the 16-yard line. Ryan Bosick, the backup for Tony Brackens, made the hit. Boy, Harris has got a quick burst, doesn't he?
Still feel like he's going to break a big one. Interesting how we talked about it early. Johnny Majors' goal coming in was to cut down on mistakes. Both teams have made them. They've both really been costly to both clubs.
Kevin Romito now in there at fullback. Harris behind him. There goes Harris straight ahead again, bouncing outside. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown Pitt. Well, you were waiting for him to break one, and you got it.
You just know it's going to happen. You just know it's going to happen. He has such great balance and explosion and overall speed. You can't teach that, Terry. That's an instinct.
18 yards on the touchdown run by Demetrius Harris. And they have worked him a lot today. 22 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown.
Number 14.
A silent crowd here at Memorial Stadium as Pitt has now taken the lead 26-24. The point after to follow. And it is up and it is good. So Pitt with now the 3-point lead with 9:06 left in this one. And Johnny Majors very happy along the sideline.
Johnny Majors understands the importance of this game. He's gone 3-8 the last 2 years. He's trying to turn this program around. He knows going to Texas, this could be a program turner. And you've got a young freshman, Demetrius Harris. We told you at the beginning of the telecast, 4.4 speed, very exciting, big play guy, tremendous quickness. But look at the balance and the instinct. Bounces off a tackler, has the end zone in his eyes, and just explodes through tackles to score. Came into this game with an 11-yard average every time he touches it. 3 touchdowns last week. Been saying the entire game he's going to break one. You had that feeling. He finally does. What a great time. 27-24 Pitt with 9:06 to go. Johnny Majors knows this game could be a program turner for him.
Yeah, the important one was the first one against Washington State. He was so excited to get that win. Last week he had Eastern Michigan and a big win there in terms of points, 66-30. But coming down to Texas, he felt this was a great opportunity to turn the corner this year.
He also knows with 9:06 to go at Memorial Stadium in Austin that this game is far from over. His players are tired. Been well over 100 degrees on the field. Guys are suffering cramps. His quarterback now a little bit shaky confidence-wise. He's thrown a couple picks. He's a young guy. Ryan is a senior, but I say a young guy as far as his playing experience. He's made a couple interceptions. I think right now his confidence is rocked.
Mistakes have played a big part in this game. The interceptions coming right after each other. 2 interceptions, one by Pitt, one by Texas. And John Jenkins with the interception for Pitt that set up that run by Demetrius Harris.
Now the explosiveness of Texas could become a problem because when Texas scores, they do it so quickly. They leave so much time on the clock for the opposing team.
Todd Barton to kick away here. He had an onside kick to open up the second half. It caught Texas completely by surprise. Mike Adams and Sean Mitchell back deep for the Longhorns. Here's Adams. He's got a hole. Tripped up at the 38-yard line. He had a seam, and he just did get tripped up, and I believe it was the kicker, Barton, who got him. This man's got a lot of speed.
You know, it's interesting. There are 7 guys playing in this game that are on the track team. I mean, we're talking about great speed, and this game is starting to look like a track meet.
So good field position for Texas here. They take over at the 37 after the return by Mike Adams. And James Brown leads the way on the afternoon. He's 13 out of 29 for 226 yards. A couple of touchdowns, but also a couple of interceptions. McGarity and Williams in the backfield. Brown over the middle. He's got Justin McLemore complete at the 48-yard line of Pitt. John Jenkins on the coverage. So Jenkins, who just picked off the pass, this time has to make the hit on McLemore, but not before a big game for Texas.
Brown threw this with authority. McLemore again just drifts into an open zone. They're in a zone coverage, so he just goes to the open area of the seam. That ball was waiting for him.
Gain of 18 on that pass. There goes Mitchell outside, not to the bounds at the 40. So he gains 4 or 5 yards. And Texas picking it up in chunks right now. 8:33 left in this one.
We've seen John Makovic do this the entire second half. He's breaking tendencies. He's mixing things up nicely, throwing when they usually have a rundown. He's passing and on rundowns as well. I mean, it's interesting how he's breaking this thing up and breaking predictabilities.
And using different personnel. Now it's Williams and Mitchell out of the eye. Brown under pressure. And here's the screen to Williams. With a 24-yard line, they set it up perfectly. A gain of 16, and Jim Williams finally knocked Williams out of bounds.
Giving Pitt a lot of credit for running to the football with a scouting report. Makovic picks this up on the sideline. So he goes and looks at everything right, has everybody run out of the play, then throws back under, hoping that Jenkins will be left there alone with 3 blockers in front of him. That's exactly what happens. So you take Jenkins out, there's the block on him, and see you later. Williams just turns it loose and has the big gainer. But again, they let Pitt run themselves out of the play, then turn with a backside screen.
And Jeffrey Clayton in at fullback now, along with Mitchell in the backfield. Time over the middle, complete to the tight end Fitzgerald to the 16-yard line. Tom Tumulty made the hit, but now you talk about James Brown and the patience he has had running this offense.
Pitt right now, the last 3 plays have had themselves in zones. And Texas, with its big receivers and speed receivers, can find the open area. Look at all the time James Brown has, then throws as his tight end Fitzgerald actually comes back for the football between the linebackers. Well, once you get out there, raise that hand, let him know you're open, sit that butt down and find the open area.
So 2nd down and 1 at the 15. Brown rearranging his backfield. And running to the 8-yard line. So Texas has taken the ball right down the field inside the 10. They started at their own 37-yard line after the turn from Mike Adams, and now they're knocking on the door.
This is James Brown at his best. This is a guy that is extremely confident. He's taking charge. He's moving guys before the snap. He's seeing things defensively. He's picking it apart, and then with his mobility and quickness, he's taking advantage of things that are there.
Come on, Wallace. Come on, Wallace.
7.5 minutes and counting. Mitchell looking outside of the sideline and wrapped up at the 5. Anthony Dorsett had the foot speed to close that corner.
What a block by Elmore. Big Texas guys are just clearing folks out of there now. Dorsett's going to take a break. I don't know if we can see it in this picture, but here's the handoff. Mitchell explodes. Watch 66 in front of him, just level. Boom! Right there, Williams. 66 is Elmore. He's 290 pounds. Williams is only 185. Here's Dorsett, too. Boom, there's that block. Dorsett comes over to make the tackle, but he catches a cleat in the chest. He kind of limps off.
Clayton now in fullback. Round the throw. Through the hands and picked off again. Thad Culpepper with the interception, and that has been the story of this game. Culpepper just came in for Anthony Dorsett, who walked off the field. Perhaps he had a leg cramp. That's what he had earlier in the game. And Culpepper picks up the interception.
That is amazing to me. This ball was thrown. It looked like it was going to be a touchdown. It's missed. It's tipped. The interception. Now watch the guys coming over. They're going to try to keep him in the end zone. They're saying, hey, guy, you're not going anywhere. Here's 51 Humphrey saying, stay in the end zone.
Everybody.
CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. By Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. Domino's Pizza. When it's got to be deep, it's got to be Domino's Ultimate Deep Dish Pizza. And a U.S. Navy. You and the Navy. Full speed ahead. Downtown Austin, and all the action happening right here at Memorial Stadium. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, and John Spagnola. 7:13 left in this one, and it has been a game, especially the second half, of mistakes and specifically interceptions. The Panthers take over at their own 20-yard line. Chris Patton straight ahead for a gain maybe of 2. Trey Thomas in on the stop.
Texas coming into this game obviously favored. Pitt trying to turn its program around. Both teams with critical turnovers and penalties this afternoon, but now their clock becomes a factor. Now 6:50 to go in the ball game. 27-24 Pitt. The Panthers want to melt as much of that time as they possibly can, get a sustained drive here.
Well, you talk about the importance of this game too. Look at the schedules down the road. Pitt has got to take on Ohio State. Texas taking on Notre Dame. Tough teams ahead, and a block by Robert Reed. Ryan under pressure and Reed with the arm up. And he has had a big day all day long.
Really has, Terry. He's been all over the field. He's been involved in so many tackles. He's got about 7 unassisted. He also has a lot of assisted tackles. And watch this. Look at number 40. Left hand to your screen. Now get the hands up. That's perfect timing. It's difficult to do with a guy in your face blocking you in your chest. But if you can explode like that, positive results like he just had, he's had a marvelous game.
And that brings up 3rd and 8, and it brings the crowd to its feet. Jenkins with the sack.
Here you are in the backfield. Now watch big old number 96. Last year, the Southwest Conference Newcomer of the Year fights through his block, shows some speed, gets to Ryan, who doesn't have the great feet. Boy, there's a guy that's 295 pounds, and he runs like a linebacker.
295 pounds. He bench presses over 500 pounds. I don't want him in my backfield. Adams, 3rd catch at the 43. So good field position for Texas with 5:38 left in this one.
I want my own place. A place where I can't be reached. I want to be off duty. I want to call a timeout. I want a mute button for reality. I want to put the world on hold and tell it, I'll get back to you.
Heck of a ball game going on here. 27-24. 5:38 left in the 4th, and a lot of action next week on ABC. Number 10, Ohio State taking on these same Panthers next week. Texas A&M and Colorado and other regional games. Mississippi State, Tennessee as well. That's next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern.
Got to wonder how much confidence James Brown has left. 3 interceptions all here in the 2nd half. They want to get him something positive to happen here now that they have good field position.
They start at their own 44. Deep drop to Adams, looking to the sun and broken up. That's a tough catch no matter what. Jenkins on the coverage. And let's go down to John Spagnuolo on the sidelines.
Thanks, Terry. If there was a sore point for the Pitt defense after last season, it was the defensive backs giving up big plays at the critical point in the 4th quarter of all their football games. It hasn't happened so far here today as the defensive backs have come up big with John Jenkins and Thad Culpepper making interceptions. They've got to come up big one more time on this drive.
And that's a good point. That's how they lost a few games last year, and still 5:32 left in this one. There goes Brown to throw. He's got McLemore inside the 40. And Williams, along with Jenkins, on the coverage, but a big gain and a big play for Texas.
You're going to leave me open to criticism if I'm a defensive back, then you've got to let me play. You've got to turn me loose and let me have some man coverage. Let me use some schemes and let me get salty back there. They sit in a zone. I guarantee any team can pick you apart if they can find the open areas. Some of those guys that we were just talking about that may have been criticized last year, golly, that was David Sumner. They moved him in the linebacker. He was a free safety. They're supposed to have more speed now on the corners. Let them play a little man. Let them force some action.
Gain of 18 on that play. Dorsett back in the defensive backfield for Pitt. Here goes Brown. And a nice kick by Adams at the 20. Brown just rifled that ball, and it looked like Adams caught up with it.
Talked about something positive happened to James Brown. He threw this thing like a bullet. Boy, that's well thrown, too. Laid out, made the catch, got the first and moved the chains.
Gain of 18 again on that play. So 2 consecutive pass plays. They go 18 yards apiece. And inside the 20. 4:40 left. White goes in motion far side. Here comes Williams. Tripped up inside the 15. May have gotten to the 14.
Tumulty with great pursuit that time to make the tackle. Playing sideline to sideline there. Looked like they came out in man coverage that time, and Tumulty got to the corner in a hurry to make the tackle.
So James Brown getting hot here on this drive. That time handed it off to Williams, but a couple of passes in a row, big plays. You look at the numbers. Ryan and Brown on the day, 3 interceptions apiece. That's been a big story this second half.
Brown's 3 picks in this half.
Williams again. Ahead for a couple, that's it. Mike Halpin, defensive tackle, along with Roderick Humphrey, the linebacker, there to stop Williams. And Johnny Majors not quite as comfortable on the sideline right now. Third down and 4 coming up for the Longhorns. The ball right about the 14-yard line. Here comes Brown. He faked everyone out. To the 4-yard line and a first down. And what a play fake.
It's a great play by Brown. But if you're playing defense, you can't afford that. You cannot allow that to happen. You know you've got a quarterback that hits the corners, that is extremely mobile. You've got to have backside flood protection. Boom, there's the fake. You can see the contained man gets caught inside. That is a mental error late in the ball game. That cannot happen. You know a quarterback can run. You know he likes to go to the corners. You've got to keep him inside and force him back in to where the pursuit comes.
And Dorsett down on the turf. They're working. It looks like he's got a cramp again. He's had that problem the entire second half. The heat certainly tough to deal with today here in Austin.
All day, man.
John Spagnuolo, where are you?
Guys, you know, I had a funny feeling this happened. I just checked with some of the coaches. James Brown did that entirely on his own. He reads the left side of his offensive line, sees if they have contain or not. He faked the pitch. You notice Mike Adams didn't throw a block for him on the left side there because he thought the pitch was going on the other side of the field. James Brown did the whole thing by himself. That is a heady move by an experienced quarterback.
John, but it's not surprising. I mean, that's the kind of quarterback he is. We talked in the keys to the game. For Pitt, they had to eliminate the big plays. They had to maintain leverage, contain, and cut off because you've got a quarterback that will hit the corners. I don't know how you can lose backside containment like that.
I always saw earlier in the second half on the screen throwing back against the pursuit. Pitt over pursuing in a big game for Texas, and this time Brown reads it on his own and takes it on the bootleg.
Boy, Pitt has played so well all afternoon. Surprising to see that kind of breakdown.
Well, first and goal at the 4. Williams the lone setback as Brown changes the play. There goes Williams trying the left side, fighting for the end zone, down to the 1. And very quickly, let's go to New York and get an update from John Saunders.
Hey, Terry.
John, could be another dream season for the Ducks, I guess, huh? What a start they've had.
Pitt takes a timeout.
They take a timeout, and so will we. At the 1-yard line, Texas trying to get in the end zone. 2:14 left. 3-point lead for Pittsburgh, and it's second and goal at the 1. Fitzgerald in motion far side. Here goes Ricky Williams, and into the end zone, touchdown. After the fine return on the kickoff by Mike Adams. Starts at their own 37-yard line. They drive down the field. And the go-ahead touchdown with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. And they really mixed it up. Staying on the ground, going to the air. Dawson. And another one through.
Tell you what, Dan Neal, big old number 69, the right guard, is an all-Southwest Conference player. Watch 69. Boom, fire out. Now watch the block. Williams fires up right, gets on his hip, stays on it, goes into the end zone. Ricky Williams, first true freshman since Earl Campbell to start the season at running back. Number 11 here. Smart play, getting behind 69 and 74. Bustamante and Neal, both big, strong guys. Look at him. Follows 69 right into the end zone. Good spin, turn, drive, become invisible at the goal line and score.
And Tim, that's a strong drive. When you talk about coming from behind, you find out a lot about your club early in the year. 8 plays, 56 yards, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. But more importantly, it puts the Longhorns up. However, there are still a couple of minutes remaining in this game.
Down here in Austin, Texas, in the great Southwest, they call that Mackovic magic.
Well, they need a little Mackovic defense right now.
It's been fun watching these two coaches go after it all.
Boy, hasn't he
like
got a
chess
little
game.
Majors magic on the other sideline too.
Yeah.
Mark Butler deep for Pitt. And the pace a little bit quicker on the sidelines now for Johnny Majors. Pitt with only 1 timeout remaining. That's a good point John Madry, our statistician, brings up right now.
Number 87.
If you're Pitt, though, Terry, you cannot panic. You've got plenty of time on the clock and some speedy receivers and an outstanding back in Demetrius Harris.
Butler 5 yards deep. He won't bring it out. We've seen that all day long. There is a wind helping the kicks in that direction. So Johnny Major's club will start at the 20. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this one. And they are going against the wind. It hasn't seemed to be a big factor lately, although, you know, with all the interceptions, you wonder about that. We saw tip balls early. We saw balls sailing early on quarterbacks.
And for Pitt, there's no secret what has to be done. A field goal doesn't help you. They've got to get all the way to the end zone.
Full complement of receivers in. Demetrius Harris, the lone setback, he goes in motion. John Ryan over the middle, complete to Gels at the 30-yard line. So Dietrich Gels with a catch.
That'll stop the clock with 2:03 to go. Stop the clock to move the chains, plus there's a player down. I believe that's Gels.
It might be Gels, yeah. Texas with 3 timeouts and Pitt with only 1, as we mentioned. And we saw Texas at the end of the first half work their 2-minute drill very well. Go down and score, and now it's in the hands of the Pitt Panthers. And led by John Ryan, their quarterback, who on the day has completed 14 out of 28 for 181 yards and touchdown, but also the 3 picks as well.
These cramps, that can't make Johnny Majors feel very good. I mean, that's his speed guy. That's his #1 receiver. That's the Big East 100-meter champion that just went out with cramps. You don't want him on the sidelines.
Flushed out, flips it out, incomplete. He almost underhanded that pass to Demetrius Harris. Robert Reed was in the backfield pressuring him.
Johnny Majors, one thing he knows ends this game right now is a turnover. So he's telling his quarterback, be safe with it, but be aggressive at the same time. In other words, you want to drill that ball. You want to throw it where only your guy can get a hold of it. Still plenty of time with 1:51 to go.
Otis Anderson, Mark Butler, Sadiq Durham to the near side, and Keith Jackson wide to the far side of the field. Plenty of time for Ryan, and throws this one to the 3rd row. Boy, good coverage by that Texas secondary, because he had plenty of time initially.
Yeah, but they flipped one more number over there on that sideline marker. It's going to show 3rd down. He's only got 2 more bullets in that gun, or he's going to have to move the chains or lose the ball game.
Pitt just 5 of 14 on 3rd down conversions today. the ball. And Durham did. Incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down. And let's get an update on Oregon UCLA from John Saunders in New York. John? John, what a finish. 4th down. Last chance here for Pitt. Jason Reeves to the end zone. Well, the interception has been the main story in this second half. And it holds up once again. A 45-yard return after the interception.
This might be the celebration penalty.
I believe it is.
And it's against Texas. Jason Reeves, linebacker. They put him in coverages a lot. Got the tip ball there when Keith Jackson had it bounce off him. And a big guy could roll.
Ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, celebration against Texas, enforced on the kickoff.
What's up, baby?
37-27.
Good job, baby. Good job. Yeah.
The celebrations have begun.
You know, that's still an outstanding job by Pitt. They played well today. Texas, outstanding ball club. Top 25 all the way. Top 15 certainly. And moving up the charts, getting better every week.
Awesome. Again through the uprights. Go 38-27. And a dejected John Ryan on the sidelines, and a different story over on the other side.
Well, this one's not all Ryan's fault, I don't believe. We'll get another look at it, but watch Jackson here, 81. This ball's thrown hard. Looks like he's got it for the first. That's good coverage, tipped away, bingo. Here comes your guy Reeves, 230-pounder. Look at him rumble. At this point, the game's over anyway, because you know Texas will get the ball and melt the clock. As a matter of fact, if you're Makovic, you're almost hoping he doesn't make the end zone so you can get the offense on the field and just take the last minute 25 away.
Looked like Trey Thomas who made that hit. Perfect
it was
timing.
Thomas, and I'm telling you, that was great coverage. Same time the ball got there, he made the hit, turned it loose, and allowed Reeves the old tip drill that everybody practices all the time.
Well, Texas will move to 2-0. The win over Hawaii a couple of weeks ago, and Pitt drops this one. 2-1 they will move to, and you know, they saw this happen a few times last year late in the game. See teams come back on that. And the genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are, for Pitt, Demetrius Harris and Mike Adams from Texas.
Keep an eye on Demetrius Harris, folks. He is just a freshman, but he is a marvelous player. Mike Adams, of course, has been around a long time. Came back from that injury from last year. He's been all conference, first team all conference. They call him the playmaker, and he is that. Great speed, great player.
77 yards on the day and a touchdown for Harris, and Adams with 5 catches for 88 yards and a TD. And celebrating its 25th year of NCAA sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. And it has been a hot one today. They moved Texas back to the 20, being penalized for the celebration. Rashad Whitfield back deep for Pitt. Whitmill out to the 25-yard line and then driven back. That's a pretty good kick. That's from the 20, and he got it all the way to the 5-yard line.
Well, this place is rocking. They love their football here in Texas. Memorial Stadium rocking now. 6th Street will be rocking later.
Not a bad town, is it?
Oh, it's a sensational town. Nice place to live.
Look at some other scores. Florida went on to that big win. They were down for a long time in that game.
I want to thank Bill Little for all his help. Johnny B for his help all down here at Texas.
Absolutely. To Durham at the 44-yard line. Sadiq Durham's had another good day. Taji Allen, the cornerback, knocked him out of bounds.
1:10 left. Pitt still trying to maximize its offensive possession here with 1:10 left. They want to keep that clock stopped as much as possible.
Three receivers to the near side. Pressure from Akins. Throws across his body and complete at the 47-yard line. That's a tough throw, and Dietrich Gels back in there. It's a good sign for Pitt.
Yeah, but Gels had the first down, then took a step backwards, didn't get it, so the clock will continue to move. They didn't move the chains. It'll bring up second down and short.
And that's their last time out.
And that's costly.
We mentioned Pitt the last 2 years, 3-8 their records, as Johnny Majors in his second phase here at Pittsburgh. His first run, of course, produced 3 bowl games in 4 years and a national championship. After going back to his alma mater at Tennessee, back again, and you know, he's done so much for the program in the last couple of years, raising money, facilities, the stadium. They've upgraded so much of that. New weight room and locker rooms and everything else, and now, you know, he's wanting to see that come about in the field as well. And tough way to lose one here.
He's an interesting guy. He's come back from bypass surgery to coach. You know, there's a guy that just loves the strategy of games, loves the strategy of war. He's a World War II fanatic, loves to read voraciously of all kinds of wars and confrontations, much like Bobby Bowden does. Bobby Bowden does. Woody Hayes did. These guys love the strategy involved in all of that.
Bowden must have studied the Air Force more than anything else. Florida State with 77 on the board today against NC State.
Bobby Bowden's a big Rommel fan.
Going long, Hail Mary, intercepted. Picked off at the 15-yard line, and Trey Thomas, the man who caused the last interception, this time on the receiving end.
Well, young John Ryan, I hope he doesn't hang his head. He came into this game with so much confidence. We were talking about this with him yesterday about how good things were. 2-0. Pitt was rolling, really seemed to have turned the corner today. 5 interceptions, but it's not as bad as it looks. And boy, if you ask me, Pitt has turned the corner. They look pretty tough today.
They looked awfully good. You're right.
And give Texas a lot of credit. Texas comes in here today. They're in a tough foe. They've got the team that's on a roll, 2-0. They knew there was going to be a tough ball game. They didn't overlook Pitt. They played hard. Texas played well.
Now Pitt's got to go back home on ABC. They're taking on Ohio State, which is, you know, to try to turn it around, and after a tough loss, get ready for that. And Texas battling the Irish. So no rest for either of these teams. And down to one knee goes James Brown. And you know, John Mackovic has talked about it. He said they're not conceding the Southwest Conference Championship to anyone in its final year here. Texas A&M, number 3 in the country, and everybody seems to have already given it to them. They said on December 2nd, when they play on ABC, he wants that to be for the conference title.
I'll tell you right now, Pitt's going to give Ohio State all it can handle.
And that was the final of Oklahoma SMU 24-10.
And this club right here, Texas, will be a huge, huge test for Notre Dame.
So Texas with the win. They move to 2-0, 38-27. For John Spagnola and Tim Brandt, I'm Terry Gannon. So long from Austin, Texas.
This has been a presentation.